My dad cheated on my mom and now wants my wedding jewelry for my stepsister?
You just steal that back.
My mom, 55, and dad, 57, got divorced when me, 30 male, and my twin brother, 30, were 13, due to our dad having an affair with our stepmom, 47. Oof. He got her pregnant with our half-sister, and after the divorce, my dad married his wife, who was horrible to our mom, and got even worse when she realized we were never going to see her as a mom in our lives. By the way, this comes from Odd Advantage 27, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, they had 3 more children together, and my stepmom already had 3 daughters from her previous marriage. Their father had passed away 2 years before the affair, so they were excited to have a new dad. During the divorce, my paternal grandparents were not happy about the affair and did everything to make sure my father and his new family knew they were not welcome. They weren't openly hostile, but it was obvious when we would get things they wouldn't or get invited to things they weren't. So on to the reason for the post. My grandparents, dad's parents, are wealthy. Think old money. In their family, there's a tradition that when you get married, you and your spouse are gifted a set of jewelry to pass down to your children. When I married my husband, we were both gifted 2 sets of diamond cufflinks and a pair of diamond studs, altogether worth about $200,000. They also paid to have our house built when they found out we were expecting our own set of twins via surrogate. I know, spoiled. Now my twin is getting married to his longtime girlfriend. My grandparents are paying for their wedding. They offered to pay for mine too, but my husband's parents paid for it. So that's why they built the house instead. My oldest stepsister, 28, is also engaged, and her wedding is scheduled after my twins. She and her fiance aren't well off, but my dad is paying for part of it. He can't pay for everything because he's still got to take care of our younger siblings, and my stepmom is a stay-at-home mom. Here's where I might be the a-hole. We were having dinner with my dad's family, and you could tell my stepsister and stepmom were upset about something. My youngest brother asked her what was wrong, and that's when she got upset. Apparently, she had asked my grandparents about the color of the jewelry she was getting for her wedding. Now, they don't have a relationship with her or our other 2 stepsisters, and they do not think kindly of their mother. They're only around them when it's a big family event or something for my half-siblings. So they told her she wasn't getting anything, especially considering how she behaved when the affair came out. She made it seem like me and my brother should have chosen her mother over ours, which was not happening. She also asked about money for a house because, again, my father can't afford it. They said no to that too, so her feelings were hurt. Plus, they're not even going to her wedding. I couldn't hold it in, so I laughed, and so did my brother. Later, after dinner, my dad texted us saying we were a-holes, which I can see. So am I the a-hole? And there are some comments. But what do you think?
So wait, he laughed at the grandparents saying she wasn't getting
Yeah,
jewelry.
basically laughed at stepsister
Right.
being upset that she wasn't getting any jewelry.
So I don't think that a laugh was necessary.
Yeah, I think it's like a little bit you are the
Yeah.
a-hole. I get it.
That's why I was like, can you say that again? I feel like I heard him wrong.
Yeah, it's like I get it, but probably not the best. You know, it's like just rising above in the moment. Like, it doesn't make you look good.
Right.
Yeah, you might be justified, and maybe she's a little bit of a, spoiled brat or, not the best
also,
person.
You sound like you could maybe be a little spoiled yourself, which
Yeah.
you're aware of.
Exactly, but it's like, if we're gonna be, polite people at a dinner party with, family and friends, maybe we don't laugh.
Grandparents.
You got a lot of stuff, girl. You got a
Boy.
lot of stuff.
OP's
Okay, girl
Sorry,
as
male?
in gender neutrally.
as in girl.
Girl, you got a lot of stuff, girl.
You got a house. You got jewels.
Paid for a wedding.
No, they got the house because they
the
didn't
grandparents,
pay for
but
the
their
wedding.
OP's
Oh, but
parents
it
are
was-
paying
it
for
was
the wedding.
OP's husband was
Yes,
paying for it.
yeah, her husband's parents. Yeah, so they're not paying for the wedding or their
And the
house,
house.
and they just got a bunch of expensive jewelry. So,
So like We can hold the chuckles in.
Yeah. And then you can go home with your husband or your fiance and be like, they're so silly.
She thought she was getting jewels.
Yeah. But it also seems like you understand that you're a bit of an a-hole.
Yeah.
Comments. Comment 1. She's your stepsister and not even related to them. They've made clear their disassociation with your step-siblings. How do they get the impression that this is suddenly going to change? It was a little unkind to openly laugh, but if this was sprung in front of you with no warning, I can understand it and to a degree excuse it. OP replied, I think she feels like because they did give her other things, like paying for her college education and gifting her a graduation trip after high school, she was entitled to other things. But the thing is, they never gave her these things in person. They always sent it through my dad. My grandparents have certain boundaries, but they're not cruel. They just like to keep familial traditions to what they call their core family. And they've always been upfront about that, even when my dad tried to make them be involved with them more than they wanted to be. Comment 2 says, not the a-hole. Who do these women think they are? I mean, even if they were better people, she still shouldn't have expected anything, not being true family members. No offense to your family, but that's how old money works. You keep it with your natural family members. So nope, that was funny. I laughed too. OP says, honestly, yeah, some of my friends don't understand when I tried to explain it to them, which I completely understand. My husband understands because his family comes from old Italian money. My dad actually tried to explain it to her when I got married because that's when my grandparents decided to build my house since we announced we were expecting the twins. Plus, I had already had 2 children already that my husband adopted because their mom had passed away giving birth. She couldn't understand why they didn't just buy me a house and kept complaining about how much of a waste it was for them to spend that much money. So that also turned them off to her more. Comment 3, how does your grandparents treat your husband's adopted children? OP says, those are my children from before I met my husband. He adopted them when we got married. Comment 4 says, just because I'm intrigued, so you had a female partner and had twins, or did she pass when she gave birth to your second baby? I'm sorry for your loss also, and I don't mean to come off rude if I do. I'm just, I have a lot of questions out of curiosity. What I'm really curious about is if it's your baby juice for the surrogate. I only ask because, my gosh, what are the odds of 2 sets of twins? Congratulations to you and your husband. I have twins in my family. OP says she passed away after our second son was born from complications from the pregnancy and prior health issues. You don't have to apologize. She was a great person and mother. She actually recorded videos for our sons each year until they're both 21, and her family is still involved with them. Plus, they love my husband as a father for them and a spouse for me. Her mom actually introduced him to me. My former in-laws are the best people. Comment 5 says, sounds like stepmom and her daughters are gold diggers, and when they saw the old money of your grandparents, they thought their ship had come in. Personally, I would tell grandparents this so they can take precautions in their will to ensure that those women never get their hands on a single red cent. OP says, oh, they already have. They were and never will be in the will. My dad has 4 younger brothers, plus my grandparents have a stipulation in their will that dictates only children and grandchildren that are blood related can receive anything from their estate. The only person who's getting anything that's not related to them is my mom, but that's because she's been helping take care of them since my grandfather had a stroke 5 years ago. And there is an update. Dang, these people are rich, man. They're like, no one is putting a single fingerprint on our money.
Give us a drop of your DNA and we'll let you know if you get a house.
My stores of gold are so massive that I swim in them daily, like Scrooge McDuck.
In my swimming pool. Yeah. So that means that out of everybody, like, dad will get money, OP will get money, OP's husband won't get money.
Yeah.
All of their kids will.
Yeah.
And the one singular half-sister will.
And aren't they
But
having
none of
2
the
surrogate
stepkids.
kids?
Yeah. So
So
all 4 of
only-
OP.
So all the surrogate kids only get stuff if it's OP's.
Oh my god, wait.
OP's the
That's why
donor.
they asked about
Yeah.
that. Okay. I
don't even
feel
know
like
if they
that has
asked.
to be a stipulation that like
Yeah.
that counts. Like maybe they don't even know who
I
the
don't
like
know.
donor is.
Yeah.
Maybe they mixed it together.
Yeah, it's like
But
it's
then-
like a Neil Patrick Harris thing, and they're like, only one of your kids get,
Yeah.
and you have to do a test on them.
Be crazy.
Yeah,
Because then it's also like out of dad's new wife's family, one kid is
Yeah.
getting stuff.
that's a Wow. Update. So a lot has happened since my last post. I'm thankful for my judgment of not the a-hole. Yesterday, my dad came over with my twin and my stepsister's fiance to talk to us. He decided to ask me if I could gift my set of jewelry I got for my wedding to my soon-to-be stepbrother-in-law. I looked at him and asked if he was crazy, especially when he knew I was already giving $6,000 to them for their honeymoon. How much money do you people have? $6,000. My brother asked him if he seriously just asked such a stupid question. Now again, I'll remind everyone that the $6,000 is my half of the present me and my brother are giving together, so they're already getting $12,000 from us. My brother reminded my dad about his set of cufflinks he got for his wedding, from his wedding to our mom, and said he could give those to him if it's that important. My dad said he's already paying for their wedding, so he shouldn't have to give them anything else, and that this would show how much I care on top of the honeymoon gift.
OP doesn't care.
Yeah, I said that's not happening, as I plan to let all my sons wear them when they go to their respective proms and gift them to my oldest son when he gets married. I told him he was out of line trying to take from his grandchildren, as he knew my plans for them. One thing about my dad is that he loves his grandchildren, especially my oldest son, who's in his sophomore year of high school. He instantly started to apologize, and the whole time my soon-to-be stepbrother-in-law was sitting there looking embarrassed because he clearly had no idea what my dad wanted him there for until he started talking.
I didn't know that he was in the room.
Rough to be like, I don't want them.
I don't want your jewels.
I don't want them.
I'm not taking from your kid.
It's fine. But you know what I want you guys to do? Listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
so rich.
Y'all are really rich.
6,000.
There's really no issue here, though.
Yeah, if the issue is just that you laughed the first time,
yeah,
like, I'm sure she's
slightly
past
rude,
that already.
but you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say like maybe like you're the a-hole. I'd be like, that was kind of rude.
It was just rude.
Yeah,
and
you fully could have just in the moment been like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And you know what?
Sorry.
That we'd be past it.
Yeah, and then right now it's just you told your dad that you're not doing it. You explain why. He's apologized. And stepbrother-in-law didn't even want them to begin with, so we're chill. Y'all are incredibly rich, and we can move on with our lives.
Give them another 1,000.
Yeah, just throw it on top. You clearly have the money. So now I'm starting to feel that this situation is going to get worse before it gets better, especially with my twins' wedding being before my stepsisters. I just told my dad I'll talk to him on Sunday when they come over for family dinner, since it's my time to host. Now he's asking me not to bring it up in front of my mom, grandpa, and grandma, since they'll both be there. I told him I wasn't planning on it because it's none of their business. And after that, I just want this conversation to end. And that is the end of this story, folks. My stepmother-in-law made everything about her, so I blocked her. Don't ever talk to me again. And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit, and there is a trigger warning for verbal abuse. I met the love of my life, Pickles, around 5 years ago while working as a cashier. He was picking up his sister, who was one of my work friends. I know it sounds corny, but it was love at first sight for both of us. By the way, this comes from My Mom Is Not a Watermelon. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Angie.
I'm Lilo.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we both said hi, and he would come into the store many times after that just to talk to me. We never exchanged phone numbers since I was on the clock and he didn't want to scare me off, so we would always talk and then leave things at that. That is, until I found out we had the same mutual friend. This friend had a private story on Snapchat, so I decided to post and congratulate him on his graduation. Within 10 minutes, I got a friend request and added him back. Within seconds, he sent me a snap, and it was indeed the man I was looking for.
Huzzah!
Yes! We started talking, and after a few hours of texting, he asked me if he could take me somewhere, and I excitedly agreed. We went out to climb on top of a building that everyone in my town calls the Bull to stargaze and talk about our lives, then ended the night sharing our first kiss. I had met his family when I dropped his sister off at home after her shift, since we both got off at the same time. She invited me in, and I met my father-in-law, Rob, her 4 siblings, her grandma, 3 dogs, including a Duke Pit Terrier mix, 1 cat, and of course, Karen, my stepmother-in-law. Now, please don't judge me for this, but when I met Karen, I thought she was Rob's queer sister. I say this because she had a blonde pixie haircut with faded blue, pink, and purple hair dye, and was wearing a rainbow tie-dyed t-shirt. I was honestly shocked when they told me they were married. She was extremely nice at first, but after a while, her mask started lifting, and she showed her true tie-dye colors. I just want to put this out that Rob is an absolute angel, and I don't know how he puts up with Karen. After about a year of dating Pickles, I had some family issues, and it ended up coming up in a conversation with the family. Rob and Karen both told me to come live with them and move my stuff into their home since they understood what those specific family issues were like. After them constantly telling me things would be better if I just moved in, I eventually did, but not without showing my appreciation by cooking, cleaning, and helping out financially. It wasn't long before Karen started yelling, berating, and belittling the kids in front of me.
What?
She always had, at minimum, 2 things to complain and get angry about in a day.
Oh my goodness.
Whether it be someone leaving a toothbrush on the sink in the bathroom or a towel falling off the rack. But I continued to live there thinking maybe she was having a bad week or it just wasn't a good month. About a year later, Pickles popped the big question in front of all his family at their Christmas Eve get-together. They were all in on it. Not even 5 minutes after I told him I would marry him, Karen opened her big mouth and said, "When are we having the wedding? What theme are we thinking? Ew, we should do this. We should do that. Blah, blah, blah." I had no idea he was going to propose to me 5 minutes prior, and we need to start planning now. Calm down. We did end up sitting down and planning the wedding and set our wedding date for September of 2023. Karen then asked me if she could plan the wedding and said both her and Rob wanted to pay for the wedding. I had asked her multiple times if she was sure, and she assured me she wanted to do everything and pay for it. Both Pickles and I agreed, but only if they were sure. Keep in mind, this was a small, low-budget wedding, especially since we didn't want them to have to pay a crazy amount of money on us. This becomes important later. Some time passed, and Pickles and I decided we wanted to start our family together, but under one condition. We would be out of the house before the baby was born, and he agreed. After we found out I was pregnant,
Oh, shoot.
we told the family around 5 days later with painted t-shirts with the words, "I'm going to be a mom," mine. "I'm going to be a dad," Pickles. "I'm going to be a grandma." "I'm going to be a grandpa," shirts. We had Rob and Karen close their eyes and had my husband's aunt and uncle put their t-shirts on them as we changed into ours. Once everyone had the t-shirts on, we had them turn around and open their eyes. The first words out of Karen's mouth were, "No wonder you were being such a witch. I knew it."
What?
Huh? That was the first words?
First of all, when was she being a witch?
Yeah, man.
Second of all, hey, whoa, calm down.
Ever heard of congratulations?
That's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Both Pickles and I exchanged what the F glances with each other, but didn't say anything until we were somewhere private. He later told me that if anything, I was acting happier than normal. I wasn't being witchy in any way, shape, or form. Fast forward about a month or so later, my morning sickness was absolutely unbearable. Remember how I said they had 3 dogs? Well, unfortunately, I have to bring them into this story. Duke is an extremely sweet, extremely large dog who wasn't properly house-trained due to everyone in the house being out most of the day. The only issue with him was that he wasn't potty trained. That and his chronic diarrhea. I was the one who cleaned up after him most of the days before and after my work shifts, and when he has to go, he'll go. All over the unfinished hardwood floors.
God.
Ew. Once my morning sickness started in, I couldn't clean up his fecal matter without having to take at least 3 trips to the bathroom in between scoops, so I didn't do as much of the cleaning as I used to. One day, Karen started yelling at me and saying that pregnancy isn't an excuse to be lazy and that I don't do crap around the house. Mind you, I was still cooking and cleaning the exact same way I used to. Bathrooms, kitchen, rooms, doing the dishes piled up in the sink. The only thing that changed was cleaning up dog poop, and even then I still cleaned it up most of the time. They have 3 dogs. When one takes a big old dookie, all of them take big old dookies. The worst of it became more frequent during the 1-month wedding countdown. I had found out I was pregnant in July, and one of my closest friends bought my dress for me as my wedding gift on Amazon. I picked a $125 black corset back dress and absolutely loved it. We decided to order a size up just in case since, well, I was pregnant. When I told Karen that I ordered the dress one size up just in case, she started screaming, "Only a size? You're gonna balloon out and you only ordered one size up? What's going to happen when the dress comes and it doesn't fit you because you're too huge? Who would make changes on that dress for you? Who would pay for it when I was pregnant?" And the rant continued. Keep in mind, I wasn't even showing yet at 5 months. Our baby was growing close to my spine, so I could have even hid the pregnancy if I wanted to. And due to throwing up almost everything I ate, I was losing weight at the time.
Oh, gosh.
The dress came a week before the wedding, and I was so relieved. It was beautiful, a little big here and there, but it fit, and I was happy about it. Karen, for once, had nothing to say, probably since my friend had brought the dress to me and was there to watch me put it on. Within the week time frame, Karen would yell, belittle, and berate me on the daily. I had paid for everything meal-related. We decided to make walking tacos since they're cheap and absolutely delicious. Karen started screaming at me when I told her how much ground beef I was buying and asked me, "What if that isn't enough? What happens if we run out of food? I'm definitely not going to leave the wedding to get it, so you would have to go out to get more." The bride would have to go out to get more beef?
Dude.
Where's the beef?
Dude,
you
chill
talking
out,
about?
Karen. You don't need to freak out about everything. If it's a problem, then we can fix it.
Yeah, let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
Calm your booty down.
Sit it down, too. You'd have to leave your own wedding because you were stupid and
Oh
didn't
my
think about
God.
anyone besides yourself. I was planning on getting 3 10-pound tubes of ground beef. I ended up buying an entire case of ground beef. Thank goodness it was on sale. It was $30 a tube, and it was normally $60 per.
Oh, wow.
After getting the beef and all the utensils, plates, etc., I got back to the house, and my husband was talking with them about the wedding. Pickle said, "We got the food," to which I responded, "I got the food, since I paid for it with my money." When Karen heard that, she jumped up and said, "Was that a jab to my son?" How?
No, it was a job to you.
I responded, "It was a joke." "Well, I didn't find it effing funny. It sounded like you made a jab at my son. I protect my son from anything, and I'm going to do everything it takes to protect him from you. I don't even think your marriage is going to last. I give it a year and you'll be done." I was fuming at this point and told her, "I have nothing to prove to you, but every day for the rest of my life, I will prove you wrong." Then I left the home, went out to my car, and cried.
Oh.
Well, you held it in. You look strong,
Yeah.
and then you get, emotions out. And that's
Exactly.
important too.
Good job.
When I eventually came back into the home, there was no apology. The day after was the day before the wedding. Karen didn't come home from work until later in the day. The second she came home, she asked me if I had found a place for daycare. I told her that I had been looking into 3 places already. She responded with, 3 places?
Oh, my God.
Only 3 places? I could make 10 phone calls and have 10 places within 15 minutes. Then do it.
Yeah, dude.
Freaking do it.
You move and do it far away from me.
Oh, and if you can't take care of your child up to my standard, I'll take your baby away. The baby will stay with me. And if you want to take a legal approach, I'll call CVS and have your child taken far away from you. I'm assuming you meant CPS, unless there's another service. At least if I take the baby, you could still see it around the house. I ran out to my car after crying in front of Karen for the things she said to me. I sat in the driver's side and texted my mom, telling her that I loved her, to which she responded with, "Are you okay?" It was late, it was out of the blue, and things had gotten better between us. Before I knew it, I got a call from my dad and spilled everything that had happened within the 2 years I had been gone. He told me to come home. I told him I couldn't. They had paid for the wedding, and I wanted to marry the love of my life. I told them we could hold off for one more day until the wedding. My parents were at the wedding, and my dad walked me down the aisle. Everything was perfect until we got to our wedding party photos. While we were gone, Karen started a fight with my husband's real mom by yelling at her daughter for sitting at a table that wasn't reserved. Mind you, There were no designated seating arrangements. We didn't know about this until afterward when our friends texted us. I would have lost my crap at Karen if I'd known she started drama, especially since we made it clear we didn't want any. After we found an apartment, we didn't plan to tell them about moving until the day we were moving in. I started packing boxes and moving them to my parents' garage. My husband ended up telling them when Karen was talking about getting things ready for the baby in the basement. The basement was falling apart. If there was ever a flash flood, water would come pouring in. And your stepmother-in-law wants to put the baby in there? No.
It can't swim.
It can't swim. It's
Come
a
on.
baby.
It's a baby.
There were wolf spiders everywhere and other critters.
Oh my God.
Upstairs had nails sticking out of the floorboards, big holes in the wall, and dried dog poop between the unfinished hardwood.
Oh my God.
There was no way we were staying there with a baby. When husband told them, Karen said, "You two are going to fail on your own, and I'm going to laugh when you come crawling back.
Oh my God.
I would
dude.
rather live in a cardboard box under a bridge than spend one more second under her roof." She would make comments about how we weren't going to make it. We had already signed on the apartment, so obviously it was too late. And I was so happy. Move-in day came, and within the first 5 minutes, Karen was yelling at Rob. Pickles raised his voice and said, "If you guys are going to yell, do it at your home, not ours. If we get a noise complaint the first day we move in, I'm going to be pissed." Karen was taken aback because he had never talked to her like that.
Yay, Pickles.
Yes, you finally did it.
Stand up. Stand up to your mama. Woo.
She had absolutely no control in our home. When everyone left, I told Pickles that someday Karen was going to blow up, and when she did, I would block her. We both hoped she wouldn't because we honestly cared about her and wanted her to change. But eventually, after some odd encounters, including her jumping on top of my husband in our bed to tickle him awake and kiss his neck.
Ew. Ew.
Sorry?
Your stepmom kissing your neck? Ew. That's so gross. I hate it.
What?
Karen, I'm going to call CVS on you.
The fact that that wasn't even the day that OP counts as, like, you know, the day of reckoning is crazy.
Yeah.
I was 2 months postpartum at this point. I had sent her and 12 other people the same video on Facebook talking about how the times your baby is little go by way too fast. Instead of thinking it was sweet, she started going crazy, asking me if I was calling her a bad mother and if this video meant I was taking your son away from her. He's a grown adult, not a baby. I apologized and informed her that I had sent the same video to 12 other people. That didn't shut her up. She yelled at me over text and started bringing things up. Eventually, she started getting into extremely personal things to hurt me. That drew the line for me, and I went off on her. I then brought up when she told me she would take my child away, and she completely ignored my text. She ran out of excuses, so instead she talked about the wedding, how she planned it and paid for it. I told her she had asked to do those things. We never once asked her. She still wasn't understanding. So eventually I just sat back and asked myself if she was worth this. If she's talking to me this way, she will eventually talk to my child that way, and I didn't want that to happen. So I told her that she could call me whatever name she would like and that it didn't matter to me anymore. She was no longer welcome on our property, and we didn't ever want to see her again. She has no right to my child, and I told her that I hoped she would eventually change and to disrespectfully go F herself. And then I blocked her. Rob is still in her life because, as I said before, he's an absolute angel and did nothing wrong to us. Why is he married to this crazy lady?
Dude, that's a great question.
What happened there?
I don't know. Rob.
Rob. But Karen gets jealous, and if she can't see our baby, he can't either. He still comes over every now and then when she's working or is out of the house, but part of me can't help but feel awful about blocking her. So am I the a-hole? What do you say?
I say
No. No.
definitely not.
Why would you think you're the a-hole?
Yeah, that is just so.
Your stepmother-in-law is crazy.
Listen, like, I don't yell at people, but if I had this Karen in my life,
yeah.
oh boy, I would have yelled so much sooner than all this.
Oh boy, I don't know how you got through all of this.
Dude, I do not know
She
either.
sounds terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Dreadful. But there is an update, and I hope it gets better and that your partner just cuts her off.
Cut
Snip. Cut it out. Update. Pickles recently talked to one of his old coworkers who now works with stepmother-in-law Karen and found out that Karen has been telling people, everyone who would listen that is, that Pickles was her biological son. What the actual F?
What?
When my husband found out, he turned beet red and showed his old coworker a picture of him and his real mom in the delivery room when he was first born. The nerve of this woman.
Oh my goodness.
By the way, I can't believe you guys have the nerve to not listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Hey, whoa, 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 hey,
whoa. Yeah, that's my thought too. That's my thought.
Yeah. What about you, Keon?
Who's Keon? I'm Lilo.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
You're Lilo.
What about you, Lilo?
Make sure you adopt an alien dog named, Stitch.
Yeah, what
Experiment
do you
626.
What do you think Stitch would say to
Oh, he would
Karen?
be saying some really outlandish stuff. Yeah.
Probably attack and
Yeah. Bing, 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 bing.
yeah.
Yeah, that. Something like that.
Exactly.
All of that.
All of that.
But we got a little bit left. Pickles told his dad about the whole thing, and Rob said he heard something about it, but thinks it's just a rumor. I'm unsure what to do now because Rob seems to be so brainwashed by Karen that he can't comprehend her lying about anything, even though he's caught her in lies in the past. Karen preaches honesty. She claims she can't lie and that it just feels wrong, and that she would never lie, and that you can tell when she's lying because she's that bad at it. And yet she's lied about everything that has gone on with the kids. Rob and my husband and me claiming everyone is out to get her. Seems like she finds a way.
I discovered my stepfather doesn't like me at their house after I saw a message.
Maybe you should read the messages.
Stop opening bottles with messages in them.
They're never good.
I'm 21 female, and in my junior year of college, I go to school 3.5 hours away and usually only go home during breaks. My parents have been divorced since I was 7, and both are remarried with other kids. By the way, this comes from user Background Heater, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we are here to give you good advice, goofily, because we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments, as OP says. My mom is married to Rich, 47 female and 48 male, and they have 2 sons, 8 and 10. My dad and stepmom, 50 male, 45 female, have a 12-year-old son, and I have 2 stepsisters, 22 and 24. I had a good childhood and always got along with everyone, I thought. Before I left this summer, Rich was coaching my brother's soccer team and gave me his phone so my younger brother could play a game on it. At one point, the phone shut off, so I plugged it into my battery pack. When it turned back on, there was a text from his brother saying, "Yeah, that's rough, but at least she's gone most of the time." I saw the text it was responding to, and it basically said that Rich always preferred when I was at my dad's house, and said all step-parents probably feel the same way, so he doesn't feel bad. I didn't snoop any further and gave the phone back to my brother. I still plan on seeing and hanging out with my mom and brothers, but I told her I was just going to stay at my dad's on breaks from now on. I didn't tell her why, but I always hated having 2 houses anyway. I never wanted to pick just one, because I love them both, and they always said they loved having me there and missed me when I was gone. I feel stupid for believing them, but I guess that's part of growing up. I told my dad and stepmom it was because my mom was having work done on her house, and they're thrilled I'll be staying there. My mom is upset, but I told her it would just make things easier. I didn't want to start a fight between her and Rich, and won't make a big deal about anything. I plan on living at home for a while after I graduate to save money, and it'll just be easier to stay at one house anyway. I know my mom's sad, but I think this is the best for everyone and will make the most people happy. My boyfriend thinks I should just keep staying at both, but I'm excited about just having one place to stay. Am I the a-hole for not staying at my mom's part-time? And there is an edit, but I would say you're not the a-hole, but you should definitely just be honest about why.
Right. Yeah, I would say have a conversation so you're not continually stewing about the messages and stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't have to stay there.
You don't have to keep that on the inside and have that be your little secret and your little
Right.
burden that you carry, and just knowing that Rich said that or whatever. And it's
Right, be like, "Hey Rich, what the heck, Rich?" But nicer.
And it might, you're getting one fraction of that conversation. That's all you saw. It might have just been like, a more nuanced thing, maybe. Maybe
Right.
it was just more like, yeah, I feel more stressed when she's here because I feel like I have to, be better while my wife's like bio daughter, like that she had before me, is around. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe it could be all cleared up.
But it should be said.
Yeah.
It should be
100%.
said. And if that starts a fight, that's not your fault. It's just it was a freak accident that you saw it.
Yeah.
But you can't just swallow it and pretend you didn't see it. So you should say something. Edit. I really don't know if I'm ready to talk to my mom about this, guys. We had some rough years when I was a teenager, and it's a little better now, but it would be devastating to find out she felt the same way. When I say I'm an adult, it just means that I don't depend on her anymore. Not that I'm mature. If I was, I would have probably already told her and not asked Reddit. That's not an easy discussion, and I'm already hurting a lot. I know she's hurting too, but I'm still the kid, and just saying it's going to hurt a lot. I'm probably going to tell her, but I can't right now. I'm sorry. And there's an update from 7 days later.
Yeah, well then you know that you have to eventually.
Let's sing a little song. Hey, sometimes it's hard to say stuff, but you should say that stuff.
Yeah.
Even when it's hard and it's scary. You should say it. Okay.
Woo.
Update. Edit. I am seeing a therapist. You don't have to keep telling me to. I've been seeing it for months. I posted a few days ago about accidentally seeing a text on my stepdad's phone where he said he preferred me to be at my dad's. So I decided that when I come home from college, I would only stay with my dad. Everyone told me to tell my mom, some nicely, some not. I really didn't want to do that. Sorry if I came across as argumentative. It wasn't on purpose. The thing is, it felt like way more people cared about my mom's feelings over mine. I get it. I've always done that too, but I've been working on it. I took all your advice and talked to my mom. I wish I hadn't. She had called me a few times about Thanksgiving and the plan, and then was telling me I should just stay with them. So I told her I just felt like Rich doesn't love it when I'm there. I didn't tell her about the text. I just knew she'd yell at me and accuse me of snooping even though I didn't. I just said I got the feeling things were easier for them when I stayed at my dad's. She told me that, of course, it was easier when I wasn't there. It's hard having someone who only lives with you part of the time because it's harder to bond, plan around, and messes up routines. She said it nonchalantly, like, of course it's cold in the winter. I wish she had just left it at that, but then she said I'm too much like my dad and reminded them too much of him. That hurt because my dad has said something similar before. So it's like I can't make anyone happy. Yeah, that's gross. Just being like,
Both
yeah,
sides
you remind
say
me
it.
of the father who I divorced and don't like, really.
OP, I'm sorry.
But it's better to know that your mom is a terrible communicator and just thinks you're kind of low-key a burden to have around. She told me I'm an adult now and should have already realized these things, but that she still loves me and wants me there. She said these things are complicated and she didn't like feeling as if I preferred or picked my dad over her. I got mad, felt like she was defending her stupid husband, trying to force me out of their lives, and she didn't listen. I told her she defends me to Rich all the time because blended families are complicated. I told her I was going to still stay at my dad's so she wouldn't have to keep dealing with all that, but she basically insinuated my dad and stepmom probably felt the same way. That hurt a lot, and I hung up on her after asking her to have my back for once in my life. I think I just knew deep down that she felt this way, so I wish I hadn't talked to her about it. I feel so bad. I wish I had kept my mouth shut and done my original plan, which was to tell her that my stepsister had asked me to help her with her baby. I just made it worse. No, you didn't. The truth hurts sometimes, but it's better to have the truth than to just live in a little delusion that you really know, like you said, like I think deep down I knew that she felt this way.
Yeah.
So you're just suppressing that feeling anyway.
It's that like shock and finding out that it was a real thing is always like devastating.
If you want to, though, you can always apply this silly baby technique. You say, my
Dakota
mama is
loves
such
the
a
silly
silly
baby
baby. It works. If you can
I'm
really
not
believe
disagreeing
it.
with you.
That's the trick, though. You have to really believe in the silly babiness.
There needs to be a committing to the bit.
If you can't truly embody the silly baby, keeps saying all this stuff, she's mad at my dad. She's mad at her ex-husband. And now she wants to make me feel bad because she's a silly baby.
Silly baby.
I guess she told Rich because he ended up calling me. I didn't answer, but he left a voicemail and apologized. He said he was sorry if anything he did or said made me think he didn't want me around. He didn't intend for that, but he didn't deny it, so it didn't make me feel any better. I won't be returning his call anyway. I haven't really talked to them since. I texted to ask the times for Thanksgiving because every year I have to figure out how to make all the houses work, but I haven't heard back. She does this sometimes, so I'm not too worried. I'm sure she'll reach back out if she feels bad or needs something. I know some people pointed out it's unfair to my stepmom and dad for me to stay with them full time because they probably feel the same way, but I don't have anywhere else to stay when I'm home. My boyfriend says I could stay with him at his parents', but I don't know how I'd explain that. They're from Mexico, so I need to go home anyway to get my passport. I'm going to stay at my dad's and hope they don't feel the same as my mom and stepdad. Even so, if my mom feels that way, it's likely my dad does too. And that sucks. Why is that the case? People are complicated and different, and it's a little swirly gray area of how people think and feel.
She already said her dad's made similar comments.
Okay, before anyone says anything, no, I'm not going to tell my dad any of this. If you had divorced parents, you'll understand. You can't complain about the other parent, or they'll just gloat and make it about them. I wasn't a bad kid. I had good grades, played sports, had a job, and didn't get into trouble. My parents are really critical of me. I think I remind them too much of the other parent. And as I got older, I got sick of being nitpicked over everything. I stood up for myself, and they didn't like that. I don't regret it. I did talk to my dad, and he said he was thrilled I'd be staying with him, and that they loved having me there. But sometimes I think he exaggerates. Well, all people do this.
Yeah, that also could be extra just because you're in your head with your mom's stuff.
Yeah. And could there be times where your dad's like, yeah, it's harder to have my daughter staying with me right now? Yeah, but does that mean he just doesn't want you around at all?
No, not at all.
I don't know if he and my stepmom feel the same as my mom and Rich, but if they do, I'd rather not know now. I won't be going through my stepmom's phone. I don't know. I graduate next year and plan to live at home for a bit to save money, but now I kind of feel like I don't belong at either house in the end. My boyfriend and I have talked about moving to the coast after college, and that would be nice. And by the way, something else that'd be nice would be you listening to full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, just search OK Storytime, and you can listen from coast to coast several times over because there's 3 months worth of stories for you to listen to. But we've got a little bit more story left. I think, honestly, just believe them when they say it. They're thrilled to have you. Your mom's just being, and maybe she is right to some extent where it's like, well, yeah, of course, having another person staying at the home is going to make things more complicated and be more of a burden. And you should know that. It's like, no, you're her mother. You should be like, of course, we would be thrilled to have you at home. We would love to see you more and have you around. All right, let's finish this story. I feel like all of this has really changed how I view my entire childhood, and it sucks that maybe I was never really as wanted as I thought. My boyfriend says I should try to look at it as a good thing, as weird as that sounds, like freeing. I always felt like I owed a lot to my parents and needed to make them happy, but maybe I don't, and that is kind of freeing. My boyfriend also told my friend he was going to propose in the spring, which is exciting. I'm in no hurry, though. We've been together for years, and I never wanted to be married before I was 25. But with everything going on, who knows? And there's an edit. Guys, I'm sure one day I'll talk to my dad. Like when I was a kid, I used to like an album by Tame Impala, and I'll feel better and talk to him eventually. I just need to get my feelings in a better place because I'm crashing out over this and want to deal with that first. And that is the end of that story. My husband wants to combine our college funds, but mine is worth 10 times more.
Why is yours so much bigger?
Because I make more money. My husband and I are a couple in our 40s, and we've been married for 10 years. We both have 17-year-old children. He has a son with his ex-wife, and I have a daughter from my late husband. By the way, this comes from user School Dues Blues, blue. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, and Keon's here to make his girlfriend mad.
I'm not even doing anything.
But
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you know what you're doing over there.
He puts on me, Dakota's still talking, he goes, I didn't even do anything. I know where you live.
Tell us the things that you're going to do in the comments. OP says, when we married, we chose to keep a portion of our finances separate due to both having children already. previous real estate investments, and him having expenses like alimony and child support payments. We do combine our income for our mortgage and household expenses, retirement, and major purchases, but certain funds remain separate. The college funds we set up for our children have always been part of our separate finances. As a result, neither one of us had terribly in-depth discussions with the other regarding the amount put into each child's fund. We do discuss what goes into them regarding tax returns and gifts from relatives, but I never expected both children's funds to be penny for penny equal. I did, however, expect them to be closer than what I recently discovered.
Okay.
Both children have now applied to and been accepted to university as it's their senior year. Now that a majority of scholarships are in, tuition and housing costs are more concrete for each of their school options, and we've started the specifics of the budget conversations. My daughter's college and graduation fund is worth roughly $150,000, while my stepson has approximately $15,000.
Oh, that's
It's just another
big
zero, guys. What's another zero?
difference. That's a lot of difference.
Here's where the argument happened. With her scholarships, my daughter will have more than enough for undergraduate school and likely her graduate work as well, assuming she maintains her traditionally good grades.
Oh, wow.
She'll likely have a good bit left over, which is fine. She can use it for a down payment on a home or whatever. After scholarships and the $15,000 from his dad, my stepson will still owe for undergrad. My husband feels like we should just combine the funds. When we married, we very specifically kept certain things separate, so I can't help but feel unwilling to just scrap that and mix everything together now. It doesn't feel fair or right, but my husband thinks it's an a-hole move not to give the kids the same thing. It's never been a problem when my stepson had extras due to having another parent and household also contributing to his clothing, car, and spending money, but now suddenly we have to be even. And to be clear, being even actually means giving my stepson even more money because my daughter's scholarships are more comprehensive.
Nah, screw that.
Nah, I don't think
Okay.
you should do that.
Is stepson's bio mom not contributing anything then? If she was contributing like to a car and like a bunch of other stuff, is she also helping with college fund?
I don't know.
Because then he would have more money. I don't know. I could kind of understand like if you have the leftover money from your daughter, like maybe he could use some of what's extra, but like daughter should get her college fully paid for first.
Yeah, but then it's like that money can be for her to like buy a house or something, like, you know,
Yeah.
like she said, it's like they had agreed the entire time to keep these
Yeah.
separate, so
No,
it's
I
like not
fully
really
agree.
on her at all.
It's not.
If the stepson's college fund is at $15K, it's like, well,
What
did
we
you get any
hear?
scholarships?
Yeah.
Anyway, the kids are close, and I'm sure my stepson will realize there's a difference in university money. If my husband wanted to change things, I feel like this should have been brought up sooner. My late husband was quite young when he passed, so there was nothing much in the way of an inheritance or life insurance. And yes, to reiterate, my husband and I did discuss this prior to marriage and agreed to keep the children's expenses as part of our separate accounts. Am I the a-hole?
Oh, especially if you did that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's like we've made an agreement. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. You
I could-
saved better than me?
I could benefit from changing the agreement. We gotta
Ooh.
change the agreement.
You want to give me so much money right now? No.
Yeah, dude. This is not on you at all. We're gonna read some comments. Comment 1. Not the a-hole. Aside from the fact that he only wants to combine now because you have more money than him, why can't or isn't his son's other parent contributing?
Yeah.
It sucks for the son, but this is literally what his dad wanted, and you obliged. OP replies, I don't know what his mother will be contributing, but I can imagine it won't be much. She might surprise us all, but she's more of a spend now person rather than a save for later. Comment 2 says, I just want to say, please do not do anything to split the money now. Because A, your daughter earned her scholarships, and the fact that there will be excess money is due to her hard work. And B, it sounds like she did without a lot, from not having a living second parent to not getting as much spending money and luxuries as a young teen. Don't penalize her for that now by taking what your sacrifices accumulated to. And C, do not teach her that she has to sacrifice herself and her security to maintain a relationship with a man, well, her brother and father figure, or that her security and comfort shouldn't be her number one priority. And D, college is a tough transition for a lot of kids. She could lose those scholarships if she falters her first semester or if she figures out this isn't the right school for her. Taking from her funds now puts additional pressure on her to never have a misstep or change in heart, major, or school because her financial security is at stake. This is a hill to pass away on. I don't usually recommend to stop communicating in a marriage, but this subject matter is closed. Coming 3 says, not the a-hole. It's not fair your daughter has more college money, huh? Well, it's also not fair that your stepson still has 2 living parents to help him. Damn, bro.
That's a little weird to say. I get what you mean.
Comments going in?
Yeah. I do feel bad that people are crapping on the son like, well, he should have got more scholarships. Sometimes it is just really hard to get scholarships.
Stupid. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, I tried for a bunch of them. Doesn't mean I got any of them. There was only so many I, like, qualified for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still should not give him money just because his dad didn't save right. Because he probably is also getting stuff from his mom and potentially other family members and stuff. See, here's my thing, too. If you were so good about saving the 150 and he was, like, bad at saving the 1,500, whatever, that 150 should still remain, like, this is what I saved for my daughter for sure. And then if you decide that you want to help, like, maybe you can help going forward. Like, you're like, I will start saving something. I don't think you should have to. I feel like that's going above and beyond still. But, like, I wouldn't remove anything from the 150 for the daughter, but if you wanted to contribute stuff going forward, you could, but I feel like that's a stretch. Don't touch your daughter's college fund.
Yeah,
please.
It should remain separate the way it's been the whole time.
Yeah, but that's like the only thing I can think of like, if you do decide that you want to help, like you can start saving for like his later years of college with his dad, but like the current fund does not change.
Rob a bank. Your late husband can't do anything more for his daughter than he's already done. He won't be at her graduations. He won't be able to congratulate her on getting her first real job. He'll never get to walk her down the aisle. If she ever has kids of her own, he'll never have the chance to bounce a grandbaby on his knee or tell his adult daughter how proud he is of the incredible young woman she's become. Money can't replace any of that, but if it makes the start of her young adult life a little easier, it's a small consolation. And there is an update. Let's freaking go.
Let's freaking go,
dude. When I originally posted, my husband's reaction was still pretty gut. And since then, we've had a few days to talk things through. As I suspected, his problem was never the fact that my stepson only has $15,000 in his fund. Just that, by comparison, my daughter's graduation gift is so much larger. In his mind, the money he gives his son is a graduation gift to be used towards college and other things. If my stepson needs additional help with loans or financing, we would cross those individual bridges as they come. The shock came from how much my daughter's gift looks like next to it. We decided not to pool the accounts. Any tuition money we spend on the kids moving forward will come from our shared funds and will go equally towards each child. If we gift stepson $1,000, we'll also put that amount in my daughter's account. If we loan either of them money, that's up to them individually to arrange with us. And by the way, you can arrange listening to full episodes with stories like this wherever you listen to podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Just search OK Storytime.
Wow, so they did exactly what I said, low-key.
They did.
Looks like I can go home for the day, guys.
They should have given you those scholarships.
1 for 1.
They should give me the 150 plus the 15.
They should have given you it turns out you were right all along.
And do you get
scholarship.
all of the money scholarship?
And
see, guys,
yeah.
I was smart enough for those scholarships.
We let the kids know that their accounts are different. A lot of the discrepancy in funds is due to the fact that all of my daughter's gifts from family and other resources have been pooled into her account, whereas my stepson still has his mother and extended family contributing to his account. The kids understand this is largely a reflection of how aggressively each set of biological parents invested and planned ahead. My daughter's side of the family is quite small, while my stepson's side has many relatives contributing. The kids are all good. My husband and I are all good. No one will be drowning in college debt, as some feared. We just needed to have a talk about things and clarify our approach. Thanks again to everyone for the different perspectives. And that is the end of that
Yay!
story.
Everything's fine.
Oh, we love new perspectives.
I suggested bringing my stepdaughter to therapy, and everyone got furious at me.
What's wrong with therapy?
I hope my title made some sense, but if not, I will try to explain. 8 years ago, I, 33 female now, met a young widower, 35 male now, who had a 6-year-old daughter, 14 female now. He and his late wife had technically been separated at the time of her passing, so he was ready to move on. However, I believed his daughter needed help, and a few times before we got married, I said as much. By the way, this comes from Katiro. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I was told she was just more reserved by nature and that she would come around to me in time. This was not just my husband saying this. His whole family said the same thing. They told me the proof was in the fact that she was not being blatantly rude or disrespectful and was not throwing tantrums or acting out. I tried to build a good relationship with my stepdaughter, but the more time went on, the less it seemed likely or possible. She was not outright angry, but she would not open up to me or willingly spend any one-on-one time with me. She did spend one-on-one time with her dad, but at a certain point, when he and I had our first child, this also changed. Once I was pregnant with our first child, her behavior did change. She started getting angry, started cursing at me, and yelling at her dad for having another baby. She told him he betrayed her mom and that she was not going to accept our child as a sibling or accept him being a dad to someone else's baby. Therapy. So much therapy.
So much therapy.
Therapy is bad.
No, Keon.
No, that's what they're. Yeah.
That's what they're.
That's what they're saying.
After I gave birth, my husband told me he put my stepdaughter in therapy and said he realized help was needed. But when I was pregnant with our second child, I found out this was not really true. Why are you even telling your wife this then?
It's just a weird thing to lie about.
Why? You could just be like, you know what? I don't think she should go in there.
And you guys can have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Like normal people.
Yeah. Instead, he took her to classes that were supposed to prepare kids for being an older sibling and were meant to help get them excited for a younger sibling. That seems like bad. Seems like what she does not need.
Seems like the opposite.
Yeah, they're like, don't you want to be an older sibling? Isn't it great? And she's like, no, I freaking hate this kid.
I hate him so much.
This went on for months before I realized it, and he argued at the time that it was a form of therapy. I started
immersion therapy.
Yeah.
Done poorly.
I started speaking up more about my stepdaughter needing therapy, and it was at that point that my husband and his family started acting like I was some monster. They asked me why I keep trying to force the issue and why I could not accept her the way she was. While all this was going on, I never left her alone around the kids. She was also moving things and hiding things from me whenever she was home. She moved and hid the baby bottles, my phone charger, diapers, my phone, and many other things, even food. She would say in front of the whole family that she hated the kids and wished they had never been born. They were shocked and did not know what to say to me. When I said she needed therapy, they said they felt like I was saying there was something wrong with her or calling her a monster. That's not at all what OP said. She said, hey, this kid needs help. And they said, you're calling her a monster.
You want her to get therapy, you monster.
You're saying she's crazy. Witch. I told my husband that actual therapy was needed or I would be done. He told me I needed to trust him. Like when he lied about the therapy, that's who we're supposed to trust? Okay. As he is her parent and knows her better than I do. Well, clearly knowing her better hasn't really helped her at all, so. Thanksgiving was my final straw. She told several of her cousins that she was going to break all her siblings' toys and that she was going to make sure they were so messed up from this Christmas because she hated them and wanted them to pay. I was not the only person who heard this. I insisted that this was exactly why therapy was needed because she was bragging about wanting to upset her siblings. Yet again, I was the monster. Even my husband refused to accept that she needed help. I was so tired of being the monster because I believed my stepdaughter needed therapy, and a lot of therapy at this point. That night, I slept on the couch. The next morning, I told my husband I was done. I waited until the next day because I asked my parents if the kids and I could stay, and they did not get back to me until very late. My husband was not expecting me to say it was over, but I told him I was done, and I explained why.
Wow.
By the way, I'm going to explain that you guys can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts?
I feel like OP tried for a really long time, and it's totally valid to be like, and now I'm going to remove my kids from this situation.
Yeah, potentially dangerous or just potentially
Just like
bad situation.
mean person
Yeah.
who needs help.
And it's not even, really about the stepdaughter. It is, but a lot of it is your partner doesn't listen to you.
Yeah, and doesn't care to
trust you.
help his child.
No. I have already filed for divorce, and to my husband, soon to be ex, and his parents, that is the worst thing. They keep making a point about me leaving before Christmas and about how we never even tried therapy with my husband. So
it's bad when OP wants to ruin, I put in quotes, Christmas.
by
But
bringing
when
up therapy.
daughter says,
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I completely ruin everybody's Christmas, that's not a problem.
Oh, see, the crazy thing to me was that they're suggesting therapy for OP
Oh
and her
yeah,
husband.
that's funny as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so funny.
Some
I'd be like,
double
oh
funny.
my God,
They got
are you
really
saying that we're
funny.
crazy? Are you saying that we're monsters?
And you twitch a little.
Christmas and not going to therapy have been sticking points for them, but I would not go with him after everything. He already lied to me once. He and his family have been calling me a monster. His daughter is giddy about terrorizing our children, which he has zero issue with. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments. But what do you say? No. No. Absolutely not. Get your
Say
kids
no
out of there.
again, just to make it really clear, no.
No. I thought we were going to harmonize.
Oh, okay.
No.
No.
Wait. We went the same note. It's fine. Comment 1. So you guys needed to try therapy, but your stepdaughter didn't? Make that make sense. That's what I was thinking. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Comment 2 says, not the a-hole. You should have left long ago. But good, you are finally getting out. The only monsters in this are your husband and his stupid family. They are so in denial, it is pathetic and to the detriment of your stepdaughter, who is becoming a monster, all thanks to them, not you. I would never, ever allow your children to be alone with him because he is in denial and because she will potentially harm and mistreat your children. He needs supervised visits. OP says, supervised visits are not that easy to make happen. I have some proof of all the things that have happened, but in all honesty, there likely will not only be supervised contact, but 50-50 custody is most likely the outcome. I honestly should never have married him. I should have trusted my own gut and should never have listened to what my husband and his family said. And I learned a very valuable lesson about trusting my instincts and not blindly believing everything will turn out okay. And reply, find out if you can obtain lawyers for your children who strive for the best interests of each child, each of the 3. The government may fund such lawyers and advocate for supervised visits in the best interests of each child. Comment 3 says, not the a-hole. You owe your children a safe place to grow up. That is not here. They need at least one safe space with that dumb butt as a father. He had 8 years of consistently warning him and telling him your concerns, and now he's ready to fix it? He won't fix it. He'll make it look like he is and then do the same crap. And because you proved you're willing to come back despite everything, crap will ramp up. Save yourself fun. You're an amazing mom. How you have advocated for this child who despises you is amazing.
Yeah.
Save that amazing momness for your littles. Opie says it's not. But unfortunately, they will still end up spending time with my husband and his daughter. Most likely 50% of the time. It stresses me out knowing that she feels the way she does and I won't be there. But I know staying would only lead to an even more unhappy and toxic household because I can't deal with it anymore. Not only do I not trust my husband, but I don't believe for a second he will ever truly follow through. He'll just continue to act like I'm the bad guy for feeling like his daughter needs a lot of help. And that is the end of that story.
Wow. Yeah.
Can't do much to convince this guy
Yeah.
if you can't see it before.
Unfortunate.
I told my stepfather that I didn't choose him, and it made him cry.
Ouch. But I mean, I guess that's true.
My parents have been divorced since I, 17 female, was a baby. They had me and my 2 older brothers, 19 male and 22 male, together. Custody of us was split equally, and we moved from mom's house to dad's house every week. When I was 4, my mom met my stepdad. She introduced him to me and my brothers when we were 6, 8, and 11. By the way, this comes from user Elzuiciate. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And we're all here to give you some advice. It's good, maybe. Could be not good. We're goofballs. We don't know everything. Just tell us what you would do if you would do something. Whatever it is, tell us in the comments. And OP says, things got awkward after that. My stepdad, before he was my stepdad, would come to my brother's football games or my school plays, and he'd get really weird at seeing our bio dad. I remember running to my dad after my school's talent show where I won, and my stepdad intercepted and picked me up to hug me. And when I didn't hug him back, he said he wanted a hug from his girl. I said I wanted my dad, and he looked annoyed that my dad was there to begin with. I hadn't known him that long either, maybe like 5 months max, so it was weird. I used to hold my dad's hand a lot back then, and every time one of my brothers had a game during dad's parenting time, my stepdad would get furious that I'd hold dad's hand, or he'd get a furious look, rather. A few times, he tried to do the same, hold my hand, but I would shake him off. One incident happened just before my mom and stepdad got married. He called me and my brothers his and mom's kids. My dad rolled his eyes but didn't argue, and my stepdad accused him of showing disrespect and dismissing his role in front of us kids. My dad told him we didn't stop being his and mom's kids because she had moved on, and my stepdad called him a booty hole for pushing him out. Father's Day activities were weird because my stepdad wanted to do them all, and we just wanted to do them with, our dad. My mom told us we should do something with our stepdad because he loved us and showed up for us, so we reluctantly did one thing a year with him. But then he would cyberstalk dad and see we did so much more with him. One time, close to Father's Day, my grandparents brought us all out for the day, and my stepdad saw Grandma take me to buy something for my dad. He assumed it was for him, and I guess he had a meltdown on Father's Day when he saw Dad posted on his socials. When I was 10, my mom ended up in the hospital for over a month with the flu and another infection. My stepdad wanted to take on Mom's custody, and Dad said no. And he told my stepdad we weren't his kids, so he didn't get to keep us in Mom's place. We didn't try to go with him either, and my stepdad blamed my dad and said he poisoned our minds against him. My stepdad was more aggressive afterwards with trying to be a quasi-dad, a proxy father. He insisted on doing professional family portraits and tried really hard to have me and my brothers standing around him instead of us being equally close to him and Mom.
What?
He insisted on our birthday parties at Mom's house being family parties and inviting all of his family. He started signing cards to us as Dad.
Oh, God.
My oldest brother said he even scratched out his name in cards we gave him and wrote Dad in. He insisted my brothers play tennis with him, and he insisted on being their trainer. He tried to make me do father-daughter dances with him, but I refused and always found ways around it. We did talk to Mom about our issues with all of that several times. Mom would always say we should cut him some slack and try harder to appreciate him and bond with him because he felt othered by us. She told my brothers they were always so rude to him and that it was not okay. And she told me I could be blessed with 2 dads if I give it a shot. Okay. I told her if he had his way, I'd only have him. And she said I don't have to let it happen, but should see it as a sign of his love for me. Even him and Mom having my 2 half-brothers together changed nothing. All of this is why I chose to live with my dad when I turned 16. I go to Mom's house for a few hours every month, but I don't sleep there anymore. And I don't stay long if things get weird. but they did last week. And by the way, it would be so weird if you didn't listen to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. All you gotta do is search OK Storytime. We have a little bit more story left. I think, yeah, staying away from this house and living at your dad's makes sense. But I think we're about to get the real issue here.
Oh, I hope so.
Right now, we're about to get the issue. It got weird last week.
Oh my God, I want to know so bad. Please.
My stepdad brought up how he felt ignored and unappreciated by me and my brothers, and how my decision to live with dad hurt him. Then he said that you would think we'd be more loving to the person we chose to add to the family. And I was like, dude, no, mom chose you, not us. That's when the tears started. And he told me I really wanted to crush his spirit by telling him that. And he was like, I don't know what I did to make you hate me that much. Maybe it was the constant lack of respect or acknowledgement of her wants or boundaries or, feelings or attitudes.
I feel like we got a little narcy poo on our hands.
Yeah. He's just like, I just don't understand why you won't accept my behavior the way that I want it to be, even though you don't appreciate it or like it.
Yeah, you just said that to hurt me. You just said that to hurt my feelings.
There's no universe in which if I would have maybe pumped the brakes and pulled back a little bit and treated you like, you're your own person and I'm your stepfather and not your actual dad, that maybe our relationship would be better.
Yeah, like this guy is playing the victim card to a 16-year-old. Like, bro.
Honestly.
Bro.
The buddy sucks, and your mom is kind of like, I don't know what kind of hypnosis she has been put under.
Yeah, because he's definitely playing these same tricks with the mom and probably, manipulating her in a way.
My mom was pissed that I said it, and that made him cry too. So I left, and I didn't apologize.
Good.
I don't regret it, and it's true. We did not choose him. My mom texted a bunch to say that I should apologize and I should make more of an effort because it's not fair that he keeps trying and none of us reciprocate. Does what I said make me the a-hole? No, your mom and your stepdad are both idiots.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're idiots or they just have that perspective where it's like, well, whatever the, authority figure says, you must abide by, which is also stupid.
Yeah.
I don't like either of them.
Yeah.
If I was your mom, I'd be like, hey, buddy, you're not their dad.
Right.
And if the harder you push, the further away they're going to withdraw.
Yeah, exactly.
Comments. Comment 1, not the a-hole. I'll bet your mom's tone would entirely change about this type of behavior if the shoe was on the other foot. She would be losing her ever-loving crap if your dad had remarried and your new stepmom was behaving like this. Your stepdad's behavior is weird and creepy. He needs therapy, and that is the end of that story. I worked hard for years for a family vacation, but my son refused to go.
Well, was it boring?
I, 48 male, have been married to my wife for 13 years. I have a son who's 18, and she has a son who just turned 19. When they were younger, the boys were extremely close, but they slowly drifted apart as they got older. A big part of that, I believe, was the financial disparity between what I could provide and what my stepson's biological father, who was very wealthy, could give him. Over time, that difference became more noticeable and harder to ignore. By the way, this comes from user Amoeba United 4634, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily because we don't have all the answers to all life's problems. We only know what we know. So if you know stuff we don't know, why don't you tell us, please? My stepson had the kind of childhood where he went on frequent mini vacations, participated in expensive activities, and had nicer things overall. My son did not have those same opportunities. I shared custody with his mother until she passed away 6 years ago, and between the two of us, we did our best to give him good memories. Even though we could not match what my stepson's other side of the family could afford, we tried to make up for it with time and care. Still, the difference was always there. As the boys grew older, my son became more aware of that gap. I always tried to reassure him that it was not his stepbrother's fault and that different families simply have different levels of resources. Unfortunately, that explanation never fully eased the feeling. Their relationship did not become hostile and they still talk to each other, but they are no longer close. There's a distance between them that was not there when they were younger. During the summer between my son's sophomore year and junior year of high school, I finally received a long overdue pay increase. I decided I wanted to do something truly special for him. I began saving for a real vacation, something my son had never experienced before. Over the course of more than 2 years, I managed to save over $15,000. This trip was meant to be something meaningful and memorable for him. Originally, the trip was planned as a family vacation with both boys included. I booked a week-long lodge trip for winter break from December 13th to December 20th. Both boys are in college now, and the timing worked out perfectly, since my stepson finishes finals on the 8th and my son on the 11th. When wife told her son about the trip before I had the chance to tell mine, so he already knew he was included. I booked everything in mid-November and planned to tell my son once it was fully finalized. When I finally told my son, his reaction was immediate and emotional. He lit up and could not stop smiling. This would be his first real vacation and his first time traveling far outside our state. He kept thanking me, and I felt incredibly proud that I could finally give him something like this. However, when I mentioned that his stepbrother would also be coming, his expression fell instantly.
Honestly, I think it should have just been like a you and him thing. I think that would have been a little bit more meaningful for him. I don't think it should have been like, if it's a graduation gift, I think it should have been like just a you and him thing.
I asked him what was wrong, and he told me he assumed the trip would just be me and him, or maybe me, him, and his stepmom. He never thought his stepbrother would be included. He explained that every time he finally gets something special, it never feels like it's truly his, because his stepbrother has always had so many opportunities. This trip felt like the one thing that was supposed to be just for us. Hearing that was difficult, but I understood where he was coming from. To be fair, many of the smaller outings over the years were just me and my son. Sometimes my stepson joined us, but not always. Still, I understood that this trip was different. This was something my son had never had before, and he wanted to experience it without feeling overshadowed. I told him that I didn't feel right excluding my stepson, as this was meant to be a family trip. I also explained that everything had already been booked, and changing or canceling plans would mean losing a significant amount of money. My son eventually forced a smile and said he was fine. A few days later, he texted me and said he didn't want to go on the trip at all. He thanked me for planning it, but said he would rather stay home. I called him immediately, and although he insisted it was not about his stepbrother, it became clear as we talked that it was. He said he didn't think he'd be happy on the trip if his stepbrother came along, and did not want to bring the mood down for everyone else. That message stayed with me. After that conversation, I asked my wife how she would feel if the trip became just a father-son trip. She was very upset at first and said it would be wrong to set a precedent of excluding family members from vacations.
You already kind of have that precedent. Like, obviously he's going with his father, but not to the son, not to Opie's son. But it's not, it is different. I get that. Obviously it's not his dad.
You know what? My advice is always to become unbotherable, okay? Become less botherable. I explained that the trip ended up being significantly cheaper than expected, and the leftover money could be used for a family trip later, so everyone could still enjoy something special together. I also told her that my son never asks for anything, and I really planned this trip with him in mind. She eventually agreed, though she was clearly uneasy, especially since her son had already been told about the original trip and was understandably upset when he learned that he could no longer come. Am I the a-hole? Comments: you're the a-hole! The trip was already planned as a family trip, and stepson was invited. Your son wants to throw a tantrum about it, and you just let him. He had plenty of one-on-one time with just you, per your post, and he still wants to be difficult. He had one-on-one time with me, but it was always small things like movies or dinner. He never had anything close to an actual trip. That's why this felt different to him, and why he wanted it to just be us. OK Conversation 9750 says, did stepson's bio dad ever offer to include your son on trips? Because this is seeming a bit one-sided to me, with everyone saying you were wrong to exclude the stepson, yet there's no mention of stepson's dad including your kid.
I don't think OP's wrong here, so I partially agree with that commenter, but also stepdad has literally no contact with OP's son.
OP replies, no, my son was never invited on trips. I know you're getting pounded with you're the a-hole, but I feel quite a bit of sympathy for you, OP. I think your intentions were good. So, not the a-hole there, but how often does your son really ask you for something? Is this the first time he's done something like this? I think that is a very important consideration. He's been going along with all of it, but feeling more and more bad until he finally couldn't contain it anymore. And I just kind of shake my head at all the holier-than-thou judgments about how your son is an a-hole. He told you how he really feels and simply asked that the vacation be the two of you together alone. Did he have a tantrum and explode? Did he cuss and yell? Or did he just ask and then quietly withdraw? Listen, I think, unlike others, that you're actually on a bit of a knife's edge, OP. Sometimes with our kids, they don't express themselves well, they are still young, Communication can be very rough. It can swing wildly between no talk to too much emotion all at once, and we older adults need to give them grace. If your son has been holding back a lot of these feelings of resentment and wanting to do something special and be celebrated just by you, for once, then I think you have to pay careful attention to all the factors, because this could become one of those deep grievances that your kid just can't or won't get over. And that would be sad. Sometimes our children really want to just know that we prioritize them and value them, and we have to show it and prove it. We have to remember just how insecure our children are and how much they need us. So I don't have judgment for anyone in this case. I do think it was bungled and you would have had done better to talk to your son earlier. I mean, the stepbrother got to know before he did. I really hope you can salvage this and it doesn't sow a seed of bitterness that leads to buried grievances and estrangement later on. Please update me. OP says, yes, he hardly asks for anything. For birthdays, Christmas, or other special occasions, he would never ask for anything and would always say it didn't matter or that he didn't mind.
Aww.
He was never ungrateful. That's part of why I really wanted to give him this trip. I always felt bad that I couldn't give him the things his stepbrother had. He just got quiet and resigned when he told me that. He didn't yell or anything. This bushy shrew replies, yeah, I'm going to stand by my previous comment. When you have a child who is quiet like yours, and mine is too, you have to be more vigilant as a parent to really take the time to assess their feelings and how deep they run. Honestly, I would tell your wife and stepson that this is a big deal. It's serious, and that you're sorry, but you need to really take care of your son and focus on him and show him that his feelings and wants are important to you. I just have a weird feeling that if you don't, you will really come to regret this much later when it's too late. Sorry for the doom and gloom, but my mom radar just went off with your post. Another edit here to say the fact that your son got very quiet and resigned, he is this close to giving up. It's not when they are screaming and yelling that you should get scared, it's when they withdraw and pull away. Then you're almost too late, and you have to act. Another 2 cents from a supportive parent. And the son's relationship with his mom, they went out to eat often, and that's about it. She passed away 6 years ago.
Yeah, I think you're doing all right, OP. I think you're doing the best you can. We don't always make the right decisions, but it's just how we proceed after making mistakes. That's important.
After reading the comments, I talked to my son more about it. He still didn't want to go on the trip. We tried to work it out, but he was firm. So my wife, my stepson, and I went without him. I thought maybe I could use the extra money to do something just for him later or keep saving for the summer. I had a good time on the trip, but I really missed having him there. I kept in touch while we were away and knew he was staying with my parents. When we got back, he still wasn't home. I called to ask when he'd be coming back, and he said he'd stay with his grandparents until school started. We spent Christmas Eve with my wife's family and then traveled to my parents' place on Christmas Day where he was. He mostly stayed in the guest room. I tried talking to him. He talked back, but minimally. And he told me he was fine. I tried to give him money for Christmas. He thanked me, but told me he didn't want it. I sent him a text the day after Christmas because I was hurt and didn't want him thinking I was trying to upset him. I even offered another vacation just for him and me, but he declined. He told me that growing up, he sometimes resented and felt jealous of his stepbrother. When I framed the trip as something special for him, he realized it wasn't really just for him at all. Watching his stepbrother's dad always give him experiences and things, he just wanted one of those moments for himself. Something that was completely his, just me and him, without having to share. He said he just wanted us to experience something first. Something that was his, because growing up had been rough. His stepbrother went on trips often, got birthday celebrations and Christmas trips and other outings, and no one cared about how he felt. He said it hurt a lot to grow up watching all of that happen while he didn't get the same opportunities. And by the way, you have an opportunity to listen to full episodes of stories like this whenever you want by searching OK Storytime on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever it is. Just search the name of our show, and you can listen to a bajillion little episodes. You know, your wife passes 6 years ago. You probably, there's a lot going on there. I think we really, you needed to get in front of this way earlier.
And maybe you tried, but it clearly, I think that commenter before was pretty spot on. When he's withdrawing completely, I don't know how you can get your relationship back with him.
He talked about how even on his birthdays or when his grandparents would take him out to a water park, his stepbrother always had to come along. He never understood why he was always forced to share experiences while his stepbrother got to do other things without him. He wanted something he could call his own, a moment just for him. When I told him about the trip, a lot of the happiness he felt at first was from thinking it could finally be something for him alone. Then he realized his stepbrother was going to be there, and that took it away. He admitted he was angry when he left to stay with my parents, but my mom told him to use that anger as motivation for school. Now, he's planning to focus on school so he can take himself on nice trips in the future, and that will mean more to to him. He said he's okay with not doing anything with me right now and that he's looking forward to the future, hoping he can afford the things he wants. He said he didn't want to feel like he's my second choice. I don't know. I feel hurt and guilty. I worry I might have messed up my relationship with him, and I don't know how to fix it.
But, like, I also don't know how to fix it.
You've been messing this up for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't think you were present enough to head this off. This is something that should have been talked out in deep explanation
way in advance.
years and years and
Seems
years
like he's
ago.
kind of given up. I chose to ignore my stepdaughter instead of pushing a reconciliation.
Well, I mean, why would you push your stepdaughter?
Okay, let me give a little backstory since the title automatically makes me sound like the a-hole here. My oldest stepdaughter is now 26 years old, but the issue started 2 years ago when my husband and our two youngest kids took a trip to Lake Tahoe for a week. By the way, this comes from Kiyomuno, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we spent a lot of time on the beach, took tons of pictures of the kids, and posted every single one of them on Facebook so the family could see. Our 28 male and 26 female children live in Montana, and our 22 female had to work and could not go with us. I don't know if any of you have been to the beaches at Lake Tahoe in the summer, but the trip was mid-July and they were so crowded. We have a plan to maybe do that. Anyway, we got back from our trip and my hubby tried to video call our 26 female daughter, only to find out she had blocked him on Facebook. He then tried calling and texting her, but got no response. We did not want to drag our 18 male child into the situation, especially since we're not even sure what the situation was to begin with. When we called to check in with him, my hubby simply asked, "Do you know if we did something to upset your sister?" Our 28 male said he didn't know, but that he would ask her. We never really got an answer, but by the time 26 female's birthday rolled around that November, she was suddenly talking to us both again. We sent her money for her birthday because she needed help getting her car fixed, and then sent more money for Christmas for the same reason. The following spring, we made a trip up to see the kids, and everything seemed fine. Then June of 2024 came around, and she blocked us again out of nowhere.
What the frick?
Stop it.
What's going on?
We messaged her on her birthday saying, "Happy birthday, we love you," and sent her money for her birthday instead of presents since she was not answering her phone and had us blocked. I don't know if I would still keep sending money if she blocked you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would either.
Now it's 2025, and in mid-June, their stepfather's mom passed away. The older kids came down for the services and stayed for 5 days. 26 females stayed with her bio mom, which we were fine with and completely understood without complaint. Our 28 male split his time between houses, staying 2 nights with us and 3 at his mom's. On his last day here, he broke down and told me the real reason 26 female cut us off. According to him, she was insulted and disgusted by the pictures we posted from our trip to Tahoe. I was confused, so he explained further. In every pic we took of the kids, there were also women in bikinis in the background, and she felt it was wrong of us to take those pictures and post them without permission. She believed we were focusing on the women instead of the kids. That's so stupid.
And that's why she blocked you guys?
Instead of being like, hey, like, you should probably take those pictures down.
Yeah.
You know,
or
there's
like
a lot of
blur them
people-
out.
Yeah.
Like, so she just said blocked, never talking to you guys again.
What?
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 Girl.
You're at the freaking beach.
Yeah.
That you've already established is super crowded because it's
Yeah.
Tahoe in July.
Right.
What do you mean?
This is really just all a big ad for like that Google thing where it's like
Yeah.
the AI will like cut out people in the background.
If you don't want your daughter to block you forever,
Right.
use this app.
Exactly.
The section of beach we were on was about 200 yards long and had over 150 people on it, most of them women in bikinis. No matter where our kids stood or how much I zoomed in, other people were going to be in the pictures. While she was in town for the services, 26 female did not come to see us once. That part hurt the most, especially because of how much it hurt her father. Seeing him so upset over the situation was honestly heartbreaking. At that point, we still had never heard directly from her about what we supposedly did wrong. Now for the part where I'm wondering if I am the a-hole. I sent her a text message, since we're still blocked on social media, asking if there was anything she wanted or needed for her birthday. I sent it 2 weeks before her birthday and got no response at all. Because of that, I sent nothing. The same thing happened at Christmas. A few hours ago, my husband asked me what I sent her, and I told him I didn't send her anything. He got upset and said that was screwed up and that we should have sent her something anyway. I'm sorry, why are you asking now?
What do you want to do with that money so bad?
Yes. But
Yeah.
also, like, if you were so concerned about it, why didn't you take the point on that
Yeah,
2 months ago?
totally.
Why are you asking right now,
Right.
after Christmas?
Yes.
From my point of view, she only resumed talking to us when she needed help getting her car fixed, and then shut us out again once she got what she needed. She has never once talked to us directly about what we did that upset her. She never answers our calls, and if we are video calling 28 male who lives with her and 2 friends, she makes sure she's out of the room until the call is over. I feel like she's willing to talk to us only when she needs something, and I genuinely do not believe we did anything wrong to begin with. So am I the a-hole for not sending her anything for her birthday and Christmas? And we've got an update, but what do you think?
I think no.
No, you asked her.
I think it's very rare to be the a-hole for not giving someone money.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to think of a situation. Maybe if you're a parent and you have a minor child, yeah, you're going to want to take care of him.
Yeah.
This is not that case.
No.
I think, yeah, you're totally fine.
You literally said, what do you need?
Yeah.
She only had to break her no contact
Right.
to get this money. It was a very easy prerequisite.
Literally.
Update. Something a lot of people have mentioned that I would like to address is my husband's lack of involvement with gift giving. That's what I was wondering about. This has been the only year where this is the case. My husband was admitted to the hospital here the Sunday before her birthday and was there for 10 days. He got to come home, then ended up there again December 15th and wasn't released until Christmas Eve. I handled the Christmas shopping and wrapping gifts this year. For the first 16 years of our marriage, he helped with every single gift and even helped with wrapping, though he really sucks at it. Another thing that's been mentioned a lot is the possibility that she feels like he's more present with the younger kids than he was for her. This is definitely not the case. When she was growing up, he had more time at home. We traveled more, had more family activities. Now he works longer hours, and up until he got sick, was working 5 days a week, 50-hour days. 50-hour days? 50-hour? That's not possible.
50-hour weeks? I'm assuming it's meant to say.
We do what we can to make sure we do things as a family. We try to go on adventures, but it's not nearly as often as we were able to with the older 3. Our kids are 28 male, 26 female, 22 female, 15 male, and 14 female. Wow.
A lot of kids.
When 26 female blocked us, she cut ties with the other siblings here and only talked to 28 male who lives with her in another state. I'm only able to relay things from our side as she won't talk to anyone here to explain the cause or any issues she has. As I shared with another person who commented, our kids, yes, are all those ages. The older ones are the bonus kids, husbands and his ex-wife's kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then the youngest, 15 and 14, are OPs.
I love calling them bonus kids. That's really funny to me.
My husband has always been very involved. 26 female moved 14 hours away with her girlfriend at the time, back in 2018, and they talked every other day on the phone. This kept up until the Tahoe trip. We've made at least one trip a year up to visit her, apart from this year because they came here instead for their grandma's services, where we saw 28 male but not 26 female. Aside from this year, hubby's been an equal participant in buying gifts, and he's the one who sent her $2,200 last year, half for her birthday and half for Christmas to get her car fixed. That is a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
$1,100 for birthday and $1,100 for Christmas?
Pretty generous.
She unblocked him long enough to ask for help fixing her car, then blocked him again once he sent the money. 26 female was 6 when her parents divorced, and before that, he was always involved, even switching his work schedule to attend sporting events for them. And update 2, hubby and I talked this morning, and I explained why I handle it the way I did, and I did apologize for not talking to him first. Not only was I not wanting to stress him out more while he was dealing with his health issues, but as I told him, I also know that he let her take advantage of him last year, and it put us in a crappy position. Also, he could help her and get cut off again. Yes, it upset me, but I never questioned him because she's our child. But after her being no contact this entire year and all his health issues that have us paying an insane amount of medical debt off, we can't afford for him to cave like that again. I admitted it was wrong for me to not discuss it with him. I 100% own up to that. And I even told him that I'd support his decision to send her money, but it would have to be an agreed upon reasonable amount, not like the $2,200 she was sent last year. After he explained his side and I explained mine, he said he understands why I didn't send anything and, much to my surprise, supports it. He said he agrees that she obviously is asking for space and will give it to her until she's ready to communicate and will be open for her to do so when she's ready. And we've got some comments.
Oh boy.
But what do you think?
I mean, I think that's a very, it should have been obvious to be like, yeah, maybe just don't give her as much money. But
It seems like it would be obvious.
yeah, you would think.
Yeah, $2,200 in
Yeah.
a year of like just 2 events.
Crazy. It's very, very generous for them to help her with her car at all. Honestly.
at
Like,
26.
yeah, at 26, I feel
I'm
like
paying
that's
for my car now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, very nice of you, parents.
Yeah, especially when you have 5 other kids or 4 other kids.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
it's a lot.
And this one doesn't even talk to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Comments. Downvoted commenter says, honestly, I'm leaning not the a-hole, but with a big caveat. It sounds like your stepdaughter has been carrying resentment for a long time and never actually communicated it until now, which isn't fair to you. That said, the Tahoe photos clearly hit a nerve around feeling replaced or minimized, even if that wasn't your intent. Ignoring her entirely for holidays probably reinforced that belief. You don't owe money or gifts to someone who won't communicate, but you might owe a sincere acknowledgement of her feelings if you want any relationship at all. Not an apology for existing or taking photos, but for how it made her feel. And OP responds, the Tahoe trip was when she and her brother were already living 14 hours away from us. 16 hours from Tahoe. We did offer for them to go with us if they could make it to our house and ride up with us, but 28 male said he couldn't take the time off work, and she said she didn't want to go. Well, there you go.
She can't feel left out if she didn't want to go in the first place.
We can't talk to her about the situation because she's refused to talk to us. When we helped her with her car trouble, she kept the conversations short and to the point and would dodge questions about anything that didn't involve her car. Hubby was just so glad she was finally talking to him again. This year is the first time I completely ignored sending her anything for her birthday and Christmas. I figured it would just be another text message she wouldn't read and another response we would never get. She hasn't said anything to us, and I messaged 28 Male to see if she said anything to him, and he said no, that he didn't even know we didn't send her anything. He then followed up by laughing and saying, serves her right, act like a witch, get treated like one. And OP explains more about her blended family's background. OP says, when hubby and I first met and moved in together, 26 female was 8, and we've always done things with them. Trips across country, lake trips, etc. Hubby has always made all of his kids his priority at all times. This year, the holidays have been on me, present-wise, because hubby has been in and out of the hospital and is going in for surgery on January 5th. I should also explain that this isn't the first time she cut contact with her dad, but it is the first time it's lasted this long. The first time was when she was in 10th grade. She called from her mom's house with her mom sitting next to her and told hubby he was a POS dad and a crappy husband. Jeez.
What happened?
I don't know. It can't
Like-
just be the pictures, really?
Right? Like, is she getting mixed up in the wrong crowd? Is she, getting mixed up with substances or any sort of addiction or something? Or has she been in a bad relationship? Like, what is happening
No.
if all 4 other kids who are like almost all adults, like,
Yeah.
are seemingly chill
Mm-hmm.
and on good terms with the parents, and then all of a sudden,
You just have one person
yeah,
who's really not chill.
yeah, like I doubt it was something terrible that you guys did to raise her. So now I'm like partially worried about her, and I'm sure they are too.
Yeah, because it was so sudden.
Yeah.
She told him she wanted nothing to do with him while his ex was laughing in the background. We didn't see her for 2 months after that. Wow. We won't even get into the issues with his ex because that story is too dang long. I do wonder maybe the ex is like poisoning the well a little bit.
Right? That's what I'm wondering.
But just know she was awful up until 26 female graduated. We never got her to explain why she said those things to him during that call because she refused to tell us. Was 26 females blocking a type of punishment for her dad in the family? OP says no, it wasn't a punishment for anything. The way I see it, her father has spent over a year trying to find out what he did/we did that upset her, and she ignored him at every turn until she needed something. She did the same thing once when she was younger and didn't start talking to him until her class had a field trip to Las Vegas and she wanted to go. But her bio mom couldn't afford it since she hasn't worked since 2009 and her hubby only works minimum wage. We offered for her to go on the trip with us and offered to pay for her gas, and she refused, saying she didn't want to go. We've never excluded her from anything, but if she wants to cut us off, why should I be sending her anything? It's the same reason I don't send my sister gifts. She cut herself off from the family when my mom told her she couldn't afford to pay for my sister to move into a new apartment after her and her boyfriend at the time got evicted for too many noise violations. What were they doing?
Yeah, honestly.
She cut all contact with all of us, even though I had jack crap to do with her mom's decision. So I'm giving her what she wanted. And if 26 female wants to stop acting like a petulant child and talk like an adult, I'm more than happy to return to our happy little family dynamic. But she acts like we don't exist. I still love her and will still be here for her when she decides she's ready to actually communicate without expecting money for doing so. And we've got a third update. What do you think?
Oh my gosh.
Because this just keeps going.
Does keep going. I mean, I think that's so fair because, I mean, first of all, you don't owe them anything anyways. Sure, you're the parents and you probably owe them love.
Probably.
It's
We owe
like,
them love.
like at the very least.
Yeah, a little bit of love.
But when they're into adulthood like this, it's not every family that gives money gifts to their
No.
kids,
Or it's certainly not this much.
Yeah, definitely. And so even if it was the kind of norm for you to be like giving generous gifts like this or just money at all to your kids, then it would be unfair to say like, oh, well, you just have to give me that no matter what, even if I'm like treating you like crap and like not talking to you.
I wish she would just talk to you.
Yeah.
Update 3. Our 28 male son saw the original post early this morning, and he finally decided he was done letting his sister be evasive, so he sat her down and demanded answers.
Oh boy.
I feel absolutely awful for 28 male because he called me bawling his eyes out.
Oh my God.
So the pictures on Facebook excuse, not real. Wow, yeah, shocked.
yeah.
It didn't feel real.
Yeah.
It turns out that 3 years ago, 26 female biomom told her that hubby isn't her dad. I knew it was the biomom.
What?
I knew she had said something.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, 26 female is the result of an affair. One of many affairs her biomom admitted to. Daughter claims she tried to play nice and act normal. Those were the words he used, so may not be her exact words, but that she decided she isn't going to keep acting like he's her dad when he's not. He said she isn't interested in talking to any of us because there's no point when we're not even her family.
Aww. That's crazy.
Aww.
Because that's not what that means.
Yeah, one, that's not what that means. And also, OP's not your biological mom, and yet,
Yeah.
became your mom
Right.
when she married into the family. So
Yeah, you accepted her for long enough.
this is your family. I'm honestly not even sure how to process this, but more importantly, I'm not sure how to break it to my husband. I thought you were
Oh.
all in that conversation together.
Me too.
He's currently at work and goes in for surgery on January 5th and is already stressed out. So I don't know if I should tell him today after he gets home or wait until he's home after his surgery. 28 male is devastated and spent 20 minutes telling me how cruel and heartless she's being since my husband has been a great dad to her and how this is going to destroy their dad, which he's right, it will. So I guess my question now is, would I be the a-hole if I wait to tell him until after his surgery in 5 days? No?
I don't think so.
No, I feel like if it's a big surgery, which it seems like it is,
Yeah.
I think that is super fair to wait.
He's come this far without knowing.
Yeah.
And so kind of probably not the best way to look at it. But like, if he's made it this far without knowing,
yeah.
he can go an extra week.
Yeah. And I would probably talk to the 28 male and say like, hey, I'm going to talk to him after the surgery, but just don't want any complications.
Yeah. I think that's good. People get very nervous before big surgeries.
Yeah. You don't want to make anything else worse.
Exactly.
Comment 1 says, not the a-hole. Since the surgery is so soon, you can wait to tell him afterwards. No need to cause this much stress right now since the situation isn't really an emergency. She's not a minor, there's no custody battle or child support to be paid. Her behavior, though, seems odd, but it's kind of hard to tell what's up with her without her POV. Is it possible she met her bio dad and maybe clicked better with him but doesn't want to say? I can't see myself dropping my dad as an adult if I find out he's not my bio dad, unless that information explains unfair things and trauma from my childhood, or if he was a crap dad to begin with. Honestly, it kind of does. I mean, not everyone would react the same, but it feels like having this really awful realization that her mother has kept from her.
Yeah.
And is probably really hurt by it and is just kind of lashing out at everyone.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think now we have our explanation for things.
Yeah.
If she continues this behavior, that's very sad. But I think we should still give her some love and like let her know that she's still welcome here.
Yeah, don't prove her right, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because maybe she'll come around to it. Maybe she'll, be upset, and maybe I wonder if she just kind of feels like invincible in a way here, where it's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter what I say.
Yeah.
It's not actually that hurtful because you're not my dad. Like,
yeah, maybe like texting her, hey, like once you've talked to him and it goes well, hopefully.
yeah.
Hey, we know,
Mm-hmm.
and we are still your parent.
Yeah.
OP says, I honestly don't know anything more than what he told me, and since she refuses to communicate with us herself, I guess we just have to accept that. I can't speak for how her dad and biomom treated her before their divorce, but from the time I met him to present, he's always been a good dad to all 5 kids. It unalives me that she would cut us out for something completely out of our control and claim we're not her family when we're the ones who stood by her and helped her all this time. She's going through, I truly think, not that it excuses her behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but I think she's just kind of like really in shock and just kind of lashing out in a bad way.
Yeah.
Hubby paid child support for all 3 of the older kids, paid for all extracurricular activities, field trips, school clothes, supplies, paid for school lunches, and paid all medical costs. He showed up for everything: sporting events, school plays, even elementary school and high school graduations. I get that she's found out she has another part of her family now, but blood or not, I don't know how she can just write off her father, me, and our youngest 2 kids who both loved and looked up to her. Again, I think it's kind of like push them away before they push me away.
Yeah.
I do think I'll be waiting until after his surgery, since it's not like things will magically change in the next 5 days. I definitely don't want to give him one more thing to be stressed about before he has a major surgery. Thank you for your response. Does OP's husband know if his daughter is his? OP says hubby never even suspected she wasn't his, and to my knowledge, no paternity test has been done. Even if she isn't biologically my hubby's child, we still love her and consider her ours, even if she doesn't feel the same. Has 26 female done a confirmed test or going by her mother's words? OP says, to my knowledge, just her mother's word for now. I told our 28 male son not to ask anything more unless he's asking for himself, because he doesn't need to be stressing himself out when he has a child of his own to take care of. What? Whoa, he's a kid? Whoa. If he wants answers, that's fine, but he doesn't need to be the middleman here. Well, if she really isn't my hubby's bio daughter, then his ex lied for 26 years, almost 27 if you count her pregnancy. I don't have any way of knowing if she's done a paternity test with the supposed bio dad, but I know hubby has never done one or felt the reason to. Can OP's husband sue his ex if 26 female is not his? OP says suing ex would be pointless. She hasn't worked in more than 15 years, is being evicted from her home, and her current hubby is working 3 minimum wage jobs just to support them. By the way, you can support us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Dang, what a twist and turn this story was.
Wow.
Wowee.
Yeah, that really was.
I still think the same.
Yeah.
I think she's pushing you away before you
Yeah.
push her away in her mind.
Yeah.
Ah, yikes.
Yeah. I think she's taking out her frustrations because she feels a little bit invincible with that, since she thinks it still won't hurt for some reason. I don't know. Or that it doesn't matter, or that she shouldn't feel guilty because of this or something. But yeah, I think just give her some space. I'm glad you're going to wait till after the surgery to tell your husband. I think that's the smart move. It'll suck either way, but at least we'll know that he's safe.
There's a little left. OP on if the bio mother has manipulated the older kids against her. OP says bio mom spent the first 7 years of hubby's and my marriage telling the kids that I was a horrible person that was going to make their dad leave them, and then told them their dad was worthless and was the reason she couldn't afford to get them nice things for birthdays and Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, bio mom is a pretty awful person. She's always used manipulation and guilt to get the kids to do what she wants, and luckily they all figured that out in their late teens and ended up moving in with us at some point. We tried to keep things civil for the kids, but she still has the nerve to try bad-mouthing my hubby to me every chance she gets. Oh, and the cause of their divorce that she told the kids was all their dad's fault. He caught her cheating on him, and she was pregnant with another man's kid. So it's safe to say that she's already known for being deceitful. I have no doubt that hubby would agree to a DNA test if she was willing to do one, but it wouldn't change the fact that he'll always view her as his daughter. Unfortunately, she isn't willing to speak with us, so nothing we can do about it until she is. And that is the end of that story.
I accidentally hurt my boyfriend's ego because I fixed our furnace.
Aw, wah, go cry to mommy.
Called a ambulance. We've been together for 2 years, living together for the last 4 months. Our fuel tank ran bone dry. We live in the deep north and rely on fuel for heat. I called it a favor and got our tank filled. By the way, this comes from A Buds, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my boyfriend put on his overalls, grabbed a multi-tool, and went into the basement to light the furnace. He went up and down the stairs a few times over an hour before sitting at the table to eat. I overheard him calling a friend, asking them to come by with a wrench. I grabbed the socket with the 3/8-bit and quickly sneaked downstairs. Fuel's been out for a couple hours at most. Long story short, I bled the line intermittently in between light ignitions until she ran clear. No air and no foam. No brainer. After 5 minutes, he comes downstairs and says his buddy's on the way with a wrench and says that I'm doing it wrong, bleeding too much. Sorry for being extra careful not to flood the pump or combust, my guy. I just keep doing what I'm doing, and after a couple minutes, I close the valve, press the button, and she fires up. He said, you didn't want to try it my way, and storms off. Last week, my truck pan heater plug snapped. It literally just broke at the plug end from the sheer cold. He said he wanted to look after this for me since I've been so busy. 2 days later, he says it can't be fixed and I need to book with a mechanic. I woke up extra early on December 24th and snuck out to the hardware store to grab a plug end. Finished the work in 20 minutes in -40 Celsius weather. When I shared with him what I did, I was so excited. I'm pretty handy, but that generally doesn't fall into electrical-based work. He responded with so much disdain. Oh, good. I was gonna do that. I just didn't have wire snippers. I was happy to do it, and I thanked him for trying anyways. P.S. Neither did I, but I did have some pretty decent fisk snaps, a torch to burn off the rubber casing. His reaction actually hurt me and put a damper on Christmas morning. I told him the following day that as much as I appreciate his willingness, that I don't need him to do these acts of service. And it actually hurts me when he diminishes my skills and or doesn't even ask me for advice or tools when he's trying to accomplish something. Like, what are you calling a friend for? Your girl, the apparent love of your life and best friend, is just a spit away. And you're in luck, buddy. She's a pretty decent hand. In the last 4 months, there's been so many instances like this. The bathroom exhaust fan, the garage door opener, the lawnmower, the eave troughs, the iron gate. There's more, I just can't remember them all. Every time, it's the same. He tries to fix things of his own volition, doesn't ask for help. We are way beyond soft gestures of recommendations, and just craps the bed and stomps around about it. I have tried to work collectively with him, too. This is a gong show. He's always making it so personal and taking it so personal. It's not that deep. Information and resources are universal. I just don't get it. And it's not cute. I'm actually started to become really resentful. Like, why can't he embrace the part of me that is a half grease monkey handy woman? I'm not spending the rest of my life or the rest of my lease, 8 months, pretending to be something I'm not. Sneaking around to hardware stores and walking around eggshells so I don't destroy his masculinity or whatever. I gotta let this one go. Am I overreacting? We have some comments, but what do you say?
No, I don't think you're overreacting. I think that he's being a selfish little baby.
Be a cool, handy woman. He should be impressed by all your cool knowledge.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
right?
You're going around the house and going around,
I'd be like, dang, okay, take care of me.
Right? Like, if he was doing it, if it was the other way around and he was doing it, and then, like, he'd be like, oh, I fixed it, and you'd be like, oh, well, I was gonna do it. Like,
right.
He'd be like, what?
Right.
Like,
exactly. Exactly.
So it doesn't even matter. Like,
and it was your truck.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. He's just whining for no reason because you damaged his ego because he was going to do it, but really he wasn't. You were going to spend money on someone else to come by and fix it when you could just go to the hardware store, get some stuff for like $20 and then go down, fix it yourself. Like, if you could do that, do it. Why is it so hard? Like,
exactly. Comments. Comment 1. The problem is not that he doesn't know something. It's that he tries to pull you down lower than his level to feel good about himself. It never works. OP replied, exactly. I don't care that he doesn't know. I don't even care that he doesn't want to know. But when he says it can't be fixed or something can only be fixed in this way, and I have an idea that conflicts with his, it's instantly bad or wrong. Like he'd rather things remain broken than show support or gratitude for me fixing them. Comment 2. Yeah, for me, the biggest thing is he's not willing to learn from you. You're crushing it, fixing things for yourself. And rather than have you explain it so he can learn, he takes it as a personal attack. That sucks. And it's a pretty big show of emotional immaturity. I can understand him wanting to try and to be a man and do the hard work around the house. Yuck, but it's many dudes' mentality. But that's nothing if he isn't willing to learn or self-educate or communicate with you on where he's stuck, and you can share knowledge and learn together. On top of that, he wants to demean your achievements by sulking? You're clearly an independent person. I don't think you need someone trying to neuter that independence because they see it as a personal attack, not overreacting. I'm sure their attitude would drive most people nuts. Comment 3. He's feeling emasculated, and it's his own fault, but he's taking it out on you. Stop sneaking around. Stop asking him to look at stuff. Just do it yourself. When the lease is up, I'd suggest not living with him anymore, but that's a decision only you can make. Comment 4. Not overreacting. Listen to the language you're using. It helped me when leaving my crappy husband. To clock how often, when talking about the possibility of ending my marriage, I talked about freedom, peace, and autonomy. You're having to sneak and creep around and manage his emotions. Start planning a safe exit. Comment 5. It never gets better. The fragility demonstrated by the handy task challenged around the female handy skills has, in my life, ranged from frustration to blind rage. Huh? Why? The best people shared their skills and knowledge with grace. Great guys and women, too. I was lucky enough to start with a father who believed that everyone needed basic life competency. All the small know-hows to avoid injury, to commit small fixes of cars, houses, even faucets, to diagnose problems, and to not be at the mercy of con men. I am a good cook. I also delight in the friendship of men and women whose skills at this exceed my own. Free demonstrations that improve my skills. Yahoo! Maybe that was just Yahoo.
Yahoo!
Asking me to look stupid to not over-challenge the handy challenge is just pathetic. Life says there are no preordained pink jobs or blue jobs. Comment 6. You sound like a punt-butt girlfriend. Oh, yes.
That's a compliment.
Yeah. Comment 7. Not overreacting. Listen, my husband was a fixer, and he loved me beyond words. However, I am a prickly independent sort. I want to try to fix crap first before I ask for help. With some things, I know how to fix it already and just do it. When I don't, and if my tries fail, not often, we agreed I would ask him for help then. We both enjoyed him teaching me. Him, since he got to be the helper fixed hero, and me, since I got to learn a new trick and watch my man in action. Yum. Was he fragile about it? Heck no. He thought it was awesome. Bragged about it all the time to other people. When you find the right person, they will celebrate all your skills and accomplishments and wins. Not complaining, not throwing a fit, not feeling butthurt. Just truly happy and proud and maybe impressed. If he feels less manly because you can fix it your way and or he couldn't, then maybe he should just be thankful he has you and learn some more skills. WTF, such a child. Really, leave. He's not the one for you. You deserve better. Find the one for you that was like my husband for me. Do not settle for less. And we have an update.
Wow. I mean, I like all these comments.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, why wouldn't it, like, if you can't do it, why can't I try? You know, and if I succeed, why is that a bad thing? Like,
exactly.
we just fix the problem. Like, why does it matter how we get there?
Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't. And that's what's, like, pissing me off.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to sit down and have this, like, final conversation, even if you don't want to just, like, jump to breaking up, of, like, aren't supporting me, and I'm pretty cool, like.
And I'm, like, saving us hundreds of dollars and also saving us, like, maybe out of being conned.
Yeah.
So.
And his reaction to that would say a lot. So I hope you try it. Update. This post is blown up. To broadly answer the same question without thinking too deeply, have you communicated your feelings with your boyfriend? To the best of my abilities, I have communicated my feelings. So much that I'm experiencing communication fatigue. But here's the thing. Communication can always improve. Why did you interrupt your boyfriend halfway through potentially fixing it? Because he wouldn't accept my help and was adamant that he knew how. Because he was trying to vice grips to loosen a brass nut, which was disfiguring the nut. Because I refused to wait for his friend to deliver a wrench to help when we have wrenches. Because it was negative 40 degrees Celsius, negative 40 Fahrenheit, out there, and dropped from 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, to 12 Celsius, 53 Fahrenheit. in the time he put on his overalls to the time he was eating a sandwich an hour and a half later. Because the colder the air that blows into the choke behind the pump, the harder it is to ignite the pilot light. Because this problem turned into an emergency. And by the way, you'll never have a problem finding more full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left. Yeah, I don't really care. You knew how to fix the problem. He didn't want you to fix it. You went down and fixed it so quickly and he's mad at you?
Yeah,
he took an hour to put on overalls?
That seems like to be more of a problem.
If this truly is like our house is getting cold and we won't be able to ignite it even more so if we wait and let it get cold, and you're taking forever to put on overalls and then decide to eat a sandwich in that time, yeah, I'm gonna pick up stuff and go fix the problem.
Yeah, I'll try. Like, why is
Especially if I have the knowledge.
Yeah, why is it bad if I take a stab at it? Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't I just, like, be like, hey, can I try?
Yeah.
Like, maybe you just haven't seen things that, you know, whatever. I remember trying that with my ex on his motorcycle. He would fix his motorcycle all the time. And I'd be like, can I see what you're doing? He'd be like, no. Like, he, like, was so, like, it just felt so emasculating, I guess, to, like, have someone sit there and then I'm like, can I? No.
Yeah.
You know, okay.
Like,
okay,
it just
fine.
doesn't make sense. Like, if people are like, well, why didn't you just call someone to fix it? Why didn't you just let the friend come over and fix it? Why did they need to come over? I have the knowledge to know how to fix it. Why are we going to spend money to fix it?
Exactly.
Why didn't you just call a mechanic and HV guy? Because it's been at negative 40 Celsius for over a month now. And mechanics and HV are booking 6 to 8 weeks out. Because I don't want to pay a surcharge of $200 plus $150 an hour for something I can do myself. Why are you sneaking around fixing crap and not openly fixing crap like a regular human being? To avoid the discomfort I experience in his tantrum. To avoid the part where I am belittled. To avoid hurting his feelings. To make sure the job gets done. The avoid attempting collaborative teamwork where we have not been successful ever before. To have an opportunity to chill and enjoy the process without having to make room for him emotionally and physically. Also, it's because I'm sick and tired of being undervalued and underappreciated for my knowledge and skills. I don't even want to fight to be heard. I just want to peacefully exist, okay? That's the end of that story.
My stepfather treats me like a stranger in front of the whole family.
What? But you're part of the family, girl.
I am 21, and I have two younger half-sisters who are 14 and 9. We share the same mom, but have two separate dads. Me and my stepdad have always had a strained relationship. By the way, this comes from user Spiritual Crest 1447. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. As OP says, when I first met him, he treated me like an actual daughter and would include me in family events and spend time with me one-on-one. However, when my sisters were born, this all changed. He'd stopped spending time with me and he even stopped letting me join in on family activities, saying stuff like, "You're too old for this, and why don't you go spend some alone time in your room?" At first, it was just these sorts of things, but as I grew older, he started reacting weirder and weirder to me being alone with my sisters. Obviously, I know there's a bit of an age gap between me and them, but I try my hardest to spend time with them and partake in their interests. I'd play video games with the older one and make slime and do crafts with the younger one. However, if my stepdad found out I was alone in a room with my sister, he'd get mad. He'd yell at me and force me to leave, which just always confused me because I wasn't doing anything wrong, and my sisters wanted to spend time with me. He genuinely made me feel like a creep. As I reached my late teens, I started to offer to babysit my sisters if my parents ever needed me to, but my stepdad would always flat out refuse. He would literally take my sisters all the way to my grandparents' house 2 hours away every time they had a date night, despite me always being home. Once, while my stepdad was away on a work trip, my mom got me to babysit my sisters while she ran some errands, but told me not to tell him or he'd go mad. What does this come from? Where is this coming from?
Yeah, I want to know what his problem is. What does he have against you? Just because you're older? Like, you're all siblings. I don't get it.
Is it like because you're not his daughter? I don't know. Because it's like he wasn't involved in your creation, in your procreation.
Yeah, that always rubs me the wrong way. Like, I don't know. Why does that matter? You're still a part of his life, and you are still technically, like, a child, let alone his child, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Eventually, I moved out when I turned 20, which means I see my family less and less. But whenever I go back, I still try to spend time with my sisters, and he still gets upset. I hit my limit about a week ago when I went to visit. I was sat in my 14-year-old sister's bedroom having just genuine, normal girl talk. Nothing weird, just about makeup. When my stepdad walked in and told me how inappropriate it was that I was in there. I finally snapped and told them that I was just as related to my sisters as he is and had every right to spend time with my family. He got upset with this and left the house, and my mom is telling me I was a bit rude with my approach. Honestly, I don't know if I'm in the wrong and I shouldn't be trying to be close with my sisters, or if my stepdad is just insane. Am I the a-hole? And we have a quick edit. To answer a common question, me and my stepdad used to argue a lot about normal teenager stuff. Never physical or in front of the kids. The whole family knows about these arguments and have agreed I'm not an unstable person. And I just wanted to also say thank you so much to everyone who's taken the time to give me support and kind words of advice. I will definitely be digging into things further and try and figure out what the issue is. I do want to assure everyone, though, that my sisters are safe. I know a lot of people have mentioned potential abuse, and while I will be keeping an eye out for it, I think my stepdad's issue is more about me and less about them. We have some comments, but before that, Savannah, what are we thinking?
I think that he's dramatic for no reason. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he's just, like, he obviously has, like, an issue, but he's blaming it on something else. I feel. I don't know, my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely, I think you're kind of right. It does feel like it's more about you and less about your sisters. It's more about you being othered by your stepdad, where it's like, no, like, you can't be alone with them, or like they literally wouldn't even let you babysit them. Like, that's crazy that they would always go 2 hours out of their way so that you couldn't babysit your own half-sisters.
Yeah, is there something you're not telling us? Because maybe did you, like, wrong these children in some way?
No, it's like OP had like a poltergeist like possession incident when they were younger and like levitated in the living room
and doesn't remember.
And does not remember.
It's like, that never even happened. Why do you keep saying?
You can't let her watch the children. She's a conduit for the unknown.
Is that what happened, OP?
I'm sorry if that's the case. Comment, everyone, not overreacting. Your stepdad's acting weird and your mom isn't helping the situation. She should have stood up for you instead of enabling this behavior. You deserve much better treatment. OP says, thank you. Honestly, I wish she would stand up for me too, considering I stand up for her all the time. But she's got that I'm the child, they're the adult mentality. A reply says, why on earth would he treat an outsider like that? I mean, someone he had never met before, I can understand. But he knows you. Are you not straight? Do you have any other beliefs he wouldn't agree with? Because I could at least understand where his mind was going, but I still think it's effed up if you were a guy. The only other possible reason I can think of, although this really does not track with how young you were when he started this behavior, is maybe he thinks you're going to be some sort of bad influence and talk to him about bad stuff or substances or drinking or some crap like that. If he's hyper religious and you are not, this could be the root of it. But driving them for 2 hours rather than letting you babysit? Whatever his idea is, it's probably completely warped. But if he's going to act so weird about it, he should be giving you an explanation. And if your mother is allowing him to act like this without any explanation, she's just as bad. Comment 2 says, that's horrible. But you need to stop talking to your stepdad and start talking to your mother. Tell her you want to have a relationship with your younger sisters. Arrange to spend time with them when your stepdad is not around. Tell your mom to go to bat for you to spend time with them, and then take them out for fun things. If your stepdad refuses and your mom goes along with him, she shouldn't, but she might. There isn't much you can do about the 9-year-old until she gets older. Grit your teeth, go to your mom and stepdad's place a few times a year, and be a fun person to this 9-year-old to hang out with. But a 14-year-old probably already has her own cell phone, email account, and social media. You can talk to her via those methods and keep the communication going. Just tell her not to put stuff about you on her public socials, since her dad probably monitors that. good luck. Your stepdad is being an absolute a-hole. Assuming that is that you don't have a whole host of issues or something and forgot to mention it, I'm guessing that's probably not it. Your mother should be advocating with her husband for you to have a relationship with your sisters. If she's conflict averse, she may not do that, but she should. Do your best to spend time with them, but limit your exposure to your stepdad for your own mental health. He hates you for whatever reason. And there is a small update. Yeah.
I just don't understand, it's either, OP, you're not telling us something that happened, and it's like, I don't know why he's acting this way. Or, maybe it does. I completely forgot, religious beliefs or anything, LGBTQ related or something, that he's just not into.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and it could even be people who get that, people who are hyper conservative about that kind of stuff can even get to the point where it's like, oh, you have tattoos.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you shouldn't be around the kids.
Yeah.
It's like you like punk rock, you shouldn't be around the kids.
Or even political views.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Small update. After reading all your guys' advice, I have decided to try to have a conversation with my mother and also talk to the older sister to see if I can get any answers. I also wanted to give a bit more of an insight into my family's history to give you guys and myself more context about why my stepdad might be behaving this way. So my parents split when I was 6, and my mom and stepdad got together when I was 7. I believe the relationship was definitely rushed because my first sister was conceived about 8 weeks into the relationship. My mother's family were definitely not supportive of this, which caused them to pull out of our lives around the time my mother was pregnant with my second sister. I don't know why I didn't mention this before, since to me this could potentially be a big part of why my stepdad treats me differently. I also wanted to mention that my mom and stepdad aren't married. This is due to some technical issues with my mother's divorce with my bio dad. Which, by the way, you can have 0 technical issues when you go listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you've got the whole frickin' archive at the tips of your fingers. But we only have the tail end of a story left to tell here. Yeah, it's looking like your stepdad's going to see you as the op, because you're connected to the family that doesn't support or approve of his relationship with your mom.
Yeah, I think it stemmed from that. That makes a little bit more sense, but still I feel like, that's not your fault in a way.
No, of course not.
You didn't tell them to they chose that. They did that to themselves, but the fact that he's going to turn and blame it on you just because he can't deal with it or something, that's not, none of that is your fault. You were very young and that was their choice to make. So please don't blame yourself, OP.
Yeah, please. The children are innocent. Now let's finish this story.
Okay.
I've mentioned this in a few comments, but wanted to put it here as well. But I also come from a slightly different cultural background to the rest of my family. Both my mom and stepdad are completely white British, but my bio dad and his family were Romani, travelers. I personally only found this out about 2 years ago. For some reason, my mother just never thought to tell me. And growing up, I did get a few questionable comments from stepdad about stereotypes linked to that. Oh, so we've got the good old-fashioned stepdad race.
Ooh, no.
Boo. Boo. Lastly, I do have an older half-brother who's 33 from my bio dad, who did walk out of my life with my bio dad. I only mention this because I wonder if stepdad thinks I'll do something similar to my sisters, which I would never do. And that is the end of that story. I doubt he's thinking that deep. I think he's just taking his own feelings into account, and he just doesn't like you. You're not his child. And at least that's how he views you, which is crazy.
My stepmother demanded an apology after she evicted me
I refused.
Sorry, not sorry.
I, 27 female, got into a fight with my stepmother, 60-something female, several months ago. She told me she doesn't want to talk to me, so I've been respecting that for over 8 months. Now, my dad, 62 male, is telling me she wants an apology for me, but I didn't start the fight. By the way, this comes from Ouroboros 98. I'm sure I said that right. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the OK Storytime subreddit. I am Savannah.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to give you some good advice, goofily, but we do not have all the answers. We only know what we do in this situation, so let us know what you do in the comments. As OP says, my mother, call her Jean, is a manipulative, self-absorbed person, which led to my parents' divorce when I was 16. More important to the story, it led to my becoming disabled, PTSD, major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, chronic pain, and more on top of the frontal lobe malformation, ADHD, and suspected autism I was born with. Jean has made me deeply overprotective of my dad since the divorce. As I'm disabled, I have never been able to work and lived with my dad until he remarried about 9 years after my parents' divorce to my stepmother, Dina. He moved into her late father's house with her, leaving me in our previous home alone. At first, I was ecstatic that my dad finally found someone new that made him happy. I did everything I could to get along with Dina, laughing at her jokes, giving her thoughtful gifts, partaking in her hobbies, even if I hated them, providing paid and unpaid labor, helping her sort through her father's estate. Dina has always been dismissive of my disabilities. She was also very insecure and jealous of Jean, constantly asking my dad if he'd go back to her and asking me why I don't talk to her, forgive her, or get over it. That was 'cause our first fight, we were at my grandma's and the TV was doing a news segment about children's rights. I said something about how I think that's messed up, and she looked me, passed away in the eyes, and said, "Children don't have rights." I walked outside to calm down. That's crazy. Children don't have rights?
The heck?
Why not?
Everybody has rights.
I hate
And lefts.
and that's true. But I hate, like, number one pet peeve. I always for some reason gravitate towards children. I always work with kids.
Yeah.
And so whether it's theater or babysitting or anything. But I always have treated kids like they are people. I've never been you don't know because you are not, you're not developed, or right. You don't know this because you're not old enough or whatever. If they want to try something, let them do it. They have a voice. They're telling you how they feel. Why would you be dismissive of that? Because then they're just going to grow up and be like, oh, I don't matter.
Yeah.
All right. After about 30 minutes, I went back in and asked her to come speak to me outside. I said, I just want you to know I really didn't appreciate that and found it offensive. She snapped and ripped into me, yelling about how Jean is my mother and I need to get over what she did, how it's been so long. Apparently, Dina had been cheated on by a guy she is adamant she was not dating 2 years before she met my dad. She'd been taking this out on my dad, being suspicious, checking his phone constantly. So I said, then why don't you get over this guy you weren't dating? She turned red, started crying, stormed off, got in her car, and left, stranding me miles from home. What? Why? I understand you're upset, but to just leave you there and be I don't know, find your way home. That's cruel.
That's atrocious. That's not safe.
Yeah. I wonder how old.
What does the dad think about this?
Right? Yeah.
This is your child, my guy. This is your child.
What's gonna happen when you come home and you didn't bring the child home? Are they gonna be like,
oh, where is she? I don't know.
Hey, what happened? What's going on? Neither of us ever apologized. After about a month, Dad and I sat her down and explained everything, clarifying that Jean was out of the picture. Our second major fight was about Jean again. My dad, Dina, and I were at a restaurant for my birthday. Dina has this rule about no phones at the table, which affects my disabilities because my phone is my only coping mechanism for panic attacks. We sat in passed away awkward silence for several minutes. I asked, "What should we talk about?" Dina said, "I just don't understand why you don't talk to your mother." I picked my phone up and set it on the table. She said, "I already told you, if I saw a phone on the table, I would leave." She shoved my dad out of the way, grabbed her purse, and stormed out of the car. Drama. I mean, yikes.
This is not a mature adult. This is
No.
not a mature adult.
Not at all. I'm like, ugh, God. My dad sat back down with me. We chatted, then played on our phones until the food came. Dad had her food boxed up. We ate our meals, got dessert, then went back to the car. Dad started the car, and she started in on me again about all the ways I owed her apologies.
Wait, did you just sit in the car the entire time?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, how long did they spend hours in there?
I would have
Imagine-
taken my time eating. Hey, where's the wine menu? Give me the bottle. Where's dessert? Oh, let me take 5.
Yeah. And
Oh,
then
let me actually order another entree to go. Take your time.
could you imagine she's in the car steaming? She's just like, I can't wait till they come back in here. I'm just going to rip right into her.
She falls asleep waiting.
And then she's like, she wakes
She
up with
wakes up.
smoke
They're
out of
back
her.
home already.
I missed my part. All right. She said I needed to apologize and pay her back $400 she paid me to paint her late father's house. She fired me after 32 hours of the agreed 40, but I worked several days for free sorting through her father's warehouse. I even broke my finger. Aw, I told her no. After decades of therapy, I do not apologize for something I did not do, something outside of my control, or something I would do again. I only apologize for raising my voice. I am the only one who has ever apologized for anything between us. The third fight was after she took my dad for a surprise trip to North Dakota on his 60th birthday without telling anyone in the family. This ruined the plans already made for the party, left everyone deeply concerned when no one could reach him, and left his twin sister completely alone on their birthday for the first time ever. Everyone had to rearrange schedules to replan the party. An entire week later, food and cake wasted, work schedules ruined. They came back. We had the party and everyone was respectful. No one mentioned how inconsiderate her gift was, but Dina kept saying, I feel like you guys are mad at me. The third time I tried to be honest, I said, I just think it might have been nice to let someone know. Dina went off. Oh, I knew you hated me. I just wanted to do something nice. She wouldn't let anyone get a word in. I said, it was my dad's 60th birthday. I kind of wanted to spend time with him. Dina came back angry. He's none of your business? What? What do you mean? That's my dad. He's none of your business. What? Crazy statement from Dina.
This is not a well woman.
He's none of your business. Oh, Grandma's coming in.
Yeah.
Grandma said, this is our tradition, and I already had everything planned. Dina shot back. He married me. He's mine now. My grandma started to cry. I mean, this woman's horrible. She was making an old woman who had just lost her husband of 65 years sob.
Good God!
I went to Grandma and gave her a hug. My dad finally dragged Dina out. No apologies from Dina. They eventually settled for multiple millions. What? Hold on. Wait.
Where was the lawsuit in this?
Yeah, wait. What just happened? They eventually settled for multiple millions. Grandma decided she wanted to see her inheritance appreciated before she goes. She bought her daughter's houses, paid off her son's house. Each ended up with roughly $350,000. She then turned to my dad and said, what do you want? Eventually, they settled on replacing the old trailer I live in. Whoa, everyone else gets a house and she gets a trailer? I'd be like, I'll take the house maybe. Or even a boat. I'd live in a boat, maybe. I don't know. This just doesn't seem fair. But Dina hated this. Her dad had passed away 1 month after my grandpa. She was her father's only inheritor, and he was very wealthy. She has millions of her own. She said, I don't want to hear about it. My dad is both very literal and very petty, so he zipped it. Nothing. No info to her. They went up to another state visiting her kids. He said nothing. Meanwhile, I was babysitting their dogs, plus my own cats and retired service dog, free of charge. 3 weeks later, he came back down. She stayed up. While she was gone, I picked my new house, found a trailer on sale, $40,000 off. Grandma signed all the papers. Dina knew nothing and was clueless. She eventually came back 2 weeks later. I'd been keeping her house functioning for 5 weeks. Someone broke a glass before they left and no one told me, so I sliced my foot open and bled across the kitchen. OP! My God. I mean, she's going through it, this poor girl. I missed a single small spot when mopping and complaining about what that was the first thing she said when she got back. I had also made them dinner, but when she found it, she asked, "What is this, dog food?"
Yeah, because you're a witch.
You're a witch. Eventually, Dina turned to me. Small talk at first. She then asked what I'd do at my place. Oh, nothing this year, but next year I'll probably do something with the new place. She said, "What new place?" I didn't realize it was a done deal. Yeah, it's done, my dad said. My mom signed the papers. It's going in 2 months. What? Why wasn't I told? She exclaimed. You said you didn't want to know, my dad said, perfectly calm. She started going off on him. I immediately jumped in to defend him. Dad grabbed his cigarettes and walked out, as one should. Dina turned on me, screaming and getting in my face. She said I didn't deserve the new house because I don't work and can't even pay for what I have. I said something along the lines of not being as entitled, selfish, and rude as her, and if I'm supposed to work to get paid, how come she never pays me to work? I reminded her I just babysat her dogs for a month straight, free of charge. She argued that I owed that to my dad because I love him. Then she called me a selfish, entitled witch and screamed at me to get out of her house. Then my dad walked back in and she started going at him again, saying he was a liar. I whipped back around and got in between them. Uh-oh. I started walking forward to force her to back up away from him, yelling at her that if she wanted to blame someone, she should look in the mirror because she explicitly said she didn't want to know. She started calling me a witch and a parasite, saying that I'm a burden to my father's happiness, leeching off of him, holding him back. My dad chimed in with a, "Watch your mouth, Dina. Don't talk to my daughter like that." We both ended up in the kitchen, and she was screaming and yelling so aggressively, she was spitting in my mouth.
Ew.
You just made out with this
Ew,
girl.
ew.
No!
Ugh.
Don't make out with your dad's wife. Right? They're married.
And then,
Okay.
unfortunately, so.
They're married. Yikes. I could actually taste her spit. I mean, why did I need to know that? I raised one finger, placed it directly between her collarbones, and pushed her back one step. I said, "You're being a C word. Calm down." It had the opposite effect.
I mean, I feel like whenever you tell anyone to calm down, it is a button in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Once you say calm down, it's game over. Sorry. It had the opposite effect, obviously. She went even more feral and started screaming about the police and harmful act charges. She whipped her phone out and dialed the 9. Then a familiar look flashed in her eyes. She shoved the phone back and screamed at me and Dad to both get the F out now. My dad got between us and kept raising his voice to tell me to get my stuff. I finally had enough. She needs to know there are consequences to her effing actions. Dina has kicked him out 3 times, only to call hours later to beg him to come back. My dad led me into the guest bedroom to get my stuff. I grabbed as much as I could, but the second we walked out, she locked it. She locked her husband and his daughter out with some of my stuff still inside, including my service dog. Get the dog out of it! You come after animals, I come after you. End. Period. Statement done. He got most of it, and my dog. Okay, good. The dog is okay. I loaded the cats, and he drove me home. Oh, the cats were in there too. I mean, she's like mine now.
Savannah about to go John Wick on this woman.
I really am. On the way, he assured me that he loved me, and he didn't consider me a burden. Good dad, good dad. She kicked him out again too. A couple days later, Dad told me she said the only reason she didn't call the police was because she couldn't find her phone. Both Dad and I saw her pull it out, realized if she actually called, he'd never forgive her, and immediately pocketed it. It's been just under a year since that fight, and I have not said or messaged a single word to her.
Also, it could be argued, if you argued it right, I suppose, you could argue that because Dina spit on her first, that was the initial assault.
Yeah.
That was the start of it. and the aggression, because spitting is an assault charge. So technically, if you argued it right.
If I'm in the splash zone during an argument, I'm getting out of there.
Yeah.
I have an irrational fear of things coming from the face. So if your spit got mixed in with my spit, first of all, I'm throwing up and then I'm running out of the room.
Throw up in her mouth, please.
I'll be like, you know what? That's what you get. You spit in my mouth, I spit in yours. The only contact was we were both at my grandma's Christmas party, but never shared a room. On her and my dad's anniversary, I sent both a brief group text. On her birthday, I told Dad to tell her I said happy birthday. She said not to talk to her, so I've respected that. Okay. But now my dad is telling me she wants an apology from me for assaulting her and calling her a C word. The only reason I'm even considering it is because my dad says he's tired of having to deal with both of us having completely separate relationships with him. He wants me to be the bigger person and just apologize to get it over with. But at the same time, he tells me he doesn't want me to take crap from her. I know for a fact she'll just find another reason to pick a fight with me and we'll go through all this BS again. Should I just bite my tongue again and apologize for my dad's sake?
No.
And there's an update. Dad and I had our regular family therapy appointment on Thursday, and I read out my post to him and our therapist. Whoa, like the whole thing? Because that was pretty long. How long is your session? Dad said he understood. He told me I definitely don't have to apologize to Dina if I don't want to, but he does want me to give it another shot with her. The classic bury the hatchet and move on approach. So apparently he's going to put his foot down and tell Dina that I am going to their annual Halloween party in 3 weeks, as soon as she gets back from her 2-week girl safari trip in Africa.
What? Where did that come from?
As soon as she gets back from her girls trip in Africa.
May the hippopotami trample you and not let you come back.
Then we can go to her Halloween party in 3 weeks.
She can come as a skeleton.
Then her following week-long Baltimore vacation. Oh, she was going to Africa, then Baltimore.
What a strange transition.
Yeah, nothing I would have ever done. So evidently, I need to find a costume pretty quickly and figure out how I'm going to address the inevitable backlash I'm going to catch for this. That's true. Oh, and that's the end.
By the way, if you want to hear stories just like this, full episodes, mind you, that are kind of crazy, but you don't have to experience the craziness on your own, just go to your favorite podcasting platform and search OK Storytime to hear full episodes just like this.
I begged my mother to love me. She chose a stranger instead.
I'm so sorry.
I love you. I'm 26 years old and female. I grew up with my mom being so loving towards me. She had me when she was 20. Both her and my dad worked very hard to provide for us, making us middle class. I have 2 younger brothers, one that's 1 year younger and another that's 6 years younger. She punted me out in high school for changing my hair purple. By then, she and my dad had divorced, so I lived with him for 2 years. By the way, this comes from OKCupcake8324, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. Haha. But we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so please let us know what you do in the comments. As Opie says, senior year! I moved back in with my mom because I missed my friends. A couple months later, she met a man named Jake. They hit it off, and every other night she was out at the bar with him. I only met him twice during this time. I was also able to meet his gender-diverse son, who was my age, and we got along well. In the 3rd month of them dating, she told me she was going to help him move. After school that day, I came home to find him and his son moving into our house. I asked my mom what was going on, and she replied, "Don't you remember? I told you, he's moving in with us, silly." I thought I was understandably upset. A full-grown man I didn't know well was moving in with me, and most importantly, my 2 younger brothers. Later that night, when I voiced my concerns to her, she simply stated, "If you don't like it, you can leave." After that, she began to ignore me. Every time I saw her with Jake, they would make eye contact with me and immediately start making out. What the heck? It was so gross to me that I would just turn and leave. They kept that up the whole time I was there. My mom soon started to make fun of me for going to church, even though she was raised Baptist. She would punt me out if I was too loud laughing at a movie or having a friend over. She would accuse me of eating her things, even though I didn't like them. My friends didn't like coming over anymore because of the way my mother would treat me, Apparently, her final straw was whenever I made dinner for me and one of my brothers. The other one wasn't home at the time. I decided to shower before eating, and when I came out, I saw all the food was gone. My mom and Jake stood in the kitchen, and they looked at me, smiled, and started to make out. I stood there confused and asked, "Hey, where's my food?" They ignored me, and I asked louder, "Where's my food?" To this, my mother snapped, "You mean my food? I bought it, so it's mine." I took a step back, obviously blown away by her logic. What? But I made it. She rolled her eyes. "I bought it. It's my food, so I ate it. It doesn't matter if you made it." I was so upset that I grabbed my car keys and hopped into my 97 Crown Vic and left. I had just worked a 10-hour shift at the diner I worked at and was starving. I went to a friend's house and posted a Facebook post about what my mother said. Apparently, she saw it, and minutes later, my brother called to tell me that she was done with me and was punting me out again. I snuck as much as I could out of my old bedroom window and slept on floors and in my car for weeks. I was graduating high school, working full-time, and paying rent a month later. Of course, I told my mother out of spite, thinking she would be angry that I could do it on my own. However, she sent me a picture of a ring on her finger, exclaiming she was getting married and that she would have the wedding on my graduation day. I told her I would not be going and that she was not invited to my graduation because I did it all on my own, even after what she did. I don't know what she told extended family, but I was flooded with texts telling me that it was wrong of me not to invite my mother, to not go to her wedding, to act like such a brat. I eventually caved. After my graduation, I swung by my mother's house for the small wedding. As soon as she saw me, as if right on cue, she spoke, "I'm excited to announce that me and Jake are moving to a state 18 hours away." She also stated that she was taking both my brothers. Everyone looked at me as if waiting for a response. All I did was take a sip of my water and pretend to take a call on my phone. I went to the front yard where my brothers followed me, and they told me that they had known for a while, but my mother made them promise to keep it a secret. Your mom sucks. I held my tears the best I could because I loved my brothers, but there was nothing I could do. At the time, I was 18, and they were 17 and 12. They had no say in the matter. Once they moved, I kept low contact with my mother. In 2021, I lost my best friend. Oh, this made me act out in a way. It was a super hard year for me. My mother reached out, and I accepted her support. I would do it with like one arm's distance. Like, okay, I do need something, but nah, you suck. For Christmas, she came down to see a friend and decided to visit me too. She brought one of my brothers and that guy from the bar named Jake. It was nice to see her. We spoke kindly at the restaurant and had a nice time. I felt myself healing a little until the drive home. She mentioned how rebellious I was as a teen and how I had pierced my belly button. I tried to laugh it off and said, "Oh yeah, you said it meant I was a witch and that I probably showed my front airbags to boys." She laughed and shook her head. "Oh, honey, you must have dreamed that up. I would have never said something like that." I sat back, obviously angry. "I've only ever had nightmares about you. I remember clear as day what you said because it hurt me so much." She sighed and rolled her eyes. "I hate how you lie, especially in front of your little brother. It's so sad." I gritted my teeth and tried to speak, only for Jake to yell at me.
"Shut up, Jake."
"Jake, hey, go back to the bar.
"You're not my dad, Jake. Shut up."
There's a 2-for-1 over there.
Go make out with my mom at the bar.
Yeah, there's a 2-for-1 special over there. It's 1, 2. Ready?" I shut down, and they pulled up to my apartment. I tried to walk past my mother as she got out, but she grabbed my arm and forced me into a hug. Once she let go, I ran upstairs and slammed my apartment door. My chest felt 5 times heavier, my depression building to a scary peak. It was then that I decided I would cut off all communication with her. Good. It's been 3 years now. She texts me happy birthday, Merry Christmas and stuff, but I never reply. I need to know, did I overreact? Am I the a-hole for going no contact with my mom for 3 years? There's still so much I haven't mentioned, but these are the main points. Should I reach out? I guess my main question is, should I reach out to her one last time to voice my hurt, my anxiety, and my feelings about what I went through with her before completely cutting her off? I know it's a long shot to hopefully get any remorse out of her, but I feel so frustrated, penting up everything for years. I want to tell her exactly why I've gone no contact for so long and why she might never hear from me again. Or would it just be best to finally block her number without her knowing the reasons?
Block her.
Before we get into the rest of this,
Block her.
block her? You don't owe her a thing.
No,
She sucks.
You're not going to get an apology from her. You can reach out and explain all that. She's not going to apologize. She's going to flip it back around to blame you in some way, and it's just going to hurt you more.
You're going to get more gaslit into just like, and it's just, what, there's no point in talking to her. She sucks. She's a teenager.
Your mom's the worst.
Yeah. The fact that she's making you like, the fact that she kicked you, the fact that she punted you out when you were, so young, and she did it, she's okay with doing it multiple times. She did it, it's not worth it, OP. She sucks. Just live your life, text your brothers. You don't owe her anything. You're not the a-hole. Far from it. I visit my dad once a month. He only lives an hour away and is the closest family I have. One of my little brothers moved 4 hours away, so I visit when I can. My youngest brother is more on my mom's side because he was raised without me for 6 years. The other one, closest to my age, agrees with me and remembers how she used to treat me. So he supports me. Yes, my youngest just got out of the army. The other one, closest to my age, moved back to my state 4 hours away. By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to your favorite podcast app, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts, and search up OK Storytime. We have so many hours, so many days, even some months in there. So get to listening if you haven't. There's a little bit left to this story. OP, you didn't even need to ask us. You knew it wasn't worth your time. She's giving you anxiety, stress, depression. Anytime she comes into contact with you, just leave that wall up. There's no reason to put that wall down for her anymore.
Seems like we're already past it. You got some kiddos of your own.
Yeah, just like talk to your brothers. It sucks that your youngest brother doesn't, get the full context because he was just too young at that time. But I feel like you should set up like a little meeting with your brothers and try and hang out as much as you can.
You'd have to tell them straight up, I'd love to get to know you guys more again, but I'm not talking to mom.
Yeah. Every time your mom just has something, I feel like whenever she sees something negative out of you or like a rise out of you, she feeds from it. She feeds from your just like any emotions that make you sad. She's like, oh, she's sad? Yes. Your mom's just a huge bully. She's a toxic teenager. Just stay away from her. Stay away from that side of the family because it seems like they all like that from her. No point. Go hang out with your dad because that's the family you got, and he seems like the family you deserve. He's a good guy, it seems like. Hopefully. There's a little bit left of this story. Let's go ahead and finish it off. I kept in little contact after everything happened, but I was living on my own and knew nothing about my adult life. She was always available while my dad was constantly working, so I would ask about life things. And when my friend passed away, I thought her kindness was finally coming back. I blocked her on all social media. When I blocked her number, her side of the family began to beg me to unblock her and at least read her messages, which were just happy birthdays and I love yous. I haven't responded in 3 years, and you don't have to respond for more than that.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
Let's go for forever.
Go for forever because your mom's toxic.
Sucks.
No point.
My wife has a secret affair and I'm too afraid to leave. Leave! My wife, 37 female, and I, 34 male, have been together now for over 10 years. We have a child and own a home. Yada yada.
Dang.
By the way, this comes from Automatic Citron 6956. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would know, so let us know what you know in the comments. And Obi says, about 2 years ago, my wife was showing me something on her phone in her web browser. She zoomed out, and I saw a Pornhub page in the tabs. I didn't get mad. I was actually laughing and asked her what that was, and she took the phone away quickly and tried playing dumb. I said that I saw what the page was, and she then told me that she actually heard a rumor about Miss Rachel doing a video in the past, so she wanted to look it up and see if it was real. I took her word for it at the time, but I felt that that was not the whole story. Next, I did something I shouldn't have done, and I looked through her phone when she wasn't looking.
Tisk, OP.
Come on.
Tisk. Why aren't we just having another conversation?
Come on, right?
You know, like, hey, that didn't really feel like the honest truth.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
She was watching videos a few times a month, which I would otherwise have no problem with. It's a fairly normal thing to do. But when we first started dating, she told me verbatim that corn is cheating.
Why'd she put herself in that box?
Yeah, she could have started out with like, I mean, I think it's actually perfectly fine.
I think corn's fine.
Yeah.
But she put herself in I think corn is cheating. So now,
right.
In her mind, she is cheating.
She just didn't realize. She's like, no, you miss. It's for you. For you, that's cheating.
Yeah,
I would hate
cheating
if
for
you were
you.
doing that.
There you go.
For me, it's just purely research.
Right. It's just for the gods.
Yeah.
I was
That's
looking for Miss Rachel.
That's all.
Don't
Few
go
times
looking.
a month.
Don't please. Nobody go look for that.
Please don't. I disagreed, and we never really chatted about it since. Once I gathered enough info, how often she does it, what she watches, etc., I approached her because I felt terrible that she lied to me.
Okay, but now you're lying to her. Now you're literally stalking her, like,
Yeah,
phone.
come on. I sat her down one night and gave her the option to come clean, tell me the truth, and figure out the next steps. I told her I didn't believe her about the Miss Rachel thing. I told her I think there's more going on and asked if she wanted to come clean. She continued to lie. We went back and forth for about 20 minutes of me trying to get her to explain to me without me telling her I knew. And she wouldn't, so I finally told her what I saw. She started to cry, blamed the lying and corn on her past traumas, and said that she's been watching it since, like, younger than most people start watching it. I sympathized with her and told her I really didn't mind because I didn't think of it as cheating, just as satisfying a desire. She told me she wants to stop, and to this day I have no idea if she actually did. She tells me she has stopped, but jump forward about a year, and once again, my wife is showing me something on her phone that her father sent her in Facebook Messenger. She backs out from the screen and I see the name and face of her longtime ex, like 12 to 15 years back, sitting in her messages on Messenger.
Dude, what is she doing?
Dude.
What are you doing, girl?
Oh my gosh. I didn't bother asking her about it this time. I figured she'd lie again, and also I know that no matter what she told me, I wouldn't believe it fully because the last time I confronted her about something, she lied and lied and lied until I physically brought the receipts.
And at this point, if you don't trust your girlfriend to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
to the point where you're like not even going to bring up the conversation with her,
Yeah.
then maybe we shouldn't be with her.
Sounds like it, unfortunately. I mean, you'd think after 10 years we'd be at that point. So I took her phone when she wasn't paying attention, went through it, and saw that she had been messaging this guy for over 6 years at this point on Messenger. And they're not even Facebook friends. Notifications are turned off for his messages too. I looked through the messages and never saw anything too alarming, except he tells her she's beautiful, how much he wishes she would move back down to Florida where he's located, and some crude, spicy-related jokes he would say to her. He also offered to pay off her student loans, which I am literally doing right now as the 60-hour-a-week working husband, and she's a stay-at-home mom. This all pissed me off, but I noticed that she didn't really reciprocate too much. But she did say that she loved him.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. That's a bit of a reciprocation.
Yeah, it sounds like it to me.
The moment I read that, this is what I look like.
Yeah, absolutely. Accidentally dropped the phone down the stairs or off a balcony. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o.
I would have broken up way earlier. And I understand that y'all are married and seemingly have kids.
You have kids, yeah.
But you just don't trust her anymore.
Yeah.
You don't trust her to the point where, again, like, you don't even have conversations about these things anymore. You just immediately snoop on her phone.
Yeah. I mean, I could see why you would give it some time, like, after one situation of this, you know? But yeah, it sounds like a year is, like, max amount of time. Fast forward a few months, and I keep looking at the phone every now and again to see the conversations they have. What?
Why?
What are we doing?
Why?
She shares photos and videos or our child with him. I just don't know how to approach this. I don't want to end up getting a divorce and seeing my child a couple times a week for a few hours for the rest of my life. In March, my buddy cheated on his wife, and his wife found texts between his fling and him. I told my wife about it because it was big news. This is one of my best friends. Later, that same night, I see that she left her phone out, so I decided to look through it, and the messages between her and her ex are deleted. 7 years of texts. Wiped. So now I have no proof to tell her that I know she has been talking to him. So I let it go and see if something changes over the next few weeks.
What?
OP, this
So
is the
you
kind
let
of
it
thing
go?
you do not need proof for her. You need proof for a lawyer,
Yeah.
but you do not need proof to tell her, hey, I know that you're cheating.
Yeah.
Like,
What are you looking for?
yeah.
It's been a year of this?
Yeah, like over a year.
Over a year of this?
Of just him knowing, too.
Yeah. I don't know what you're waiting for. I feel like OP is afraid to end this relationship
Mm-hmm.
and so just keeps putting it off.
Yeah.
But it needs to be ended.
Yeah, you're probably in denial. I'm hoping that she just stops talking to him and tells him to boot some rocks. Well, that didn't happen. And one night when she and my child went to sleep over at her grandmother's house, which she did weekly to care and spend time with her, I saw that he asked if she could talk. She said yes. It was midnight. I didn't see the call log, but I saw the messages before and after. If she's out of the house, I'm assuming she has her phone with her.
Yeah.
Unless there's
How?
like an old phone or something like that. They were on the phone for almost an hour, and the only reason it ended was because our child woke up looking for her, which means she called him on another app or through his phone number. I got my phone and took a photo of the messages. I've been doing this for a few months now, but now she has all of her social media apps in a locked folder that only her face can open, which I assume she did because she was probably assuming that I was looking through her phone.
Yeah, so you're doing
crazy.
a bad thing and looking through her phone, and now she, because she's lying, has locked the folder.
Yeah.
Why are we still together?
This is really funny because this is like, you both know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
She is cheating. You know she's cheating. She knows you know she's cheating. No one's talking about it.
No one's
So
talking about it.
We're just going to go about this as normal,
Yeah.
as we would if we did talk about it, but we're not going to.
I guess not.
Crazy.
Insane.
Insane. That would be my face if you didn't listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. It's so easy for you to do. There is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, dude,
She cheating.
he's just hanging on because he doesn't want it to be over. It sounds like, but
That's it.
that's it. You know,
That's it. You
You
know. You know, dude. You know.
you know.
I don't have to tell you because you know.
You know, and now you have proof. So maybe you could get a little more custody in the you know, if that's what you want.
Yeah. I don't know what he wants.
I don't know, man. He wants to not have this exist.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
He just wants to stick his head in the sand like a little ostrich.
Yeah. So now I'm here, completely in the dark. Not sure if they have conversations on multiple apps or what they share with each other. I want to call her out on it, but I'm afraid that I just won't believe anything she says because of what occurred with the Corin situation a few years back.
That was a few years back now.
I also don't want to because I'm afraid it will lead to a separation, and I've worked hard for the little I have. I don't
You
want
don't have anything.
I don't want her to be able to take half of it and then take my child and move to Florida and have another man raise them. Do I bring it up? Leave it be? He does follow her on Instagram now. I just noticed this yesterday. I guess they talk on there as well. And that's the end of that story. But I mean, I don't know how legal stuff works,
I don't
but
think she could just move.
yeah, I don't think you can just. I understand the fear, but I think it's possible that she doesn't take exactly half in the divorce.
Yeah.
Because of the adultery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think
Depends on the state.
depending on what state you're in, I'm sure that she wouldn't be able to just like get full custody.
Or at
out of
least,
all
like,
this.
I don't think she would be able, unless she did get full custody, I don't think she'd just be able to up and leave the state either.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that you'll be okay. You just seem a little worried right now, which is very understandable again. But
Go
yeah,
talk to a lawyer.
please. You have the screenshots now.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sure do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Sean says, OP, shut the F up. She can't just move. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Depends on the state, Amanda says. Rules are so different. So good luck to you, OP. My fiance's ex is turning our kids against me, but I'm standing my ground.
Good for you. Stand strong.
And by the way, this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh.
Ooh, one of our own. I, 26 female, have been with my fiance, 33 male, for almost 5 years. We will hit our 5-year mark this May. He has children from a previous relationship, and I've been in their lives for most of their childhood. I love these kids deeply and help care for them in our home. By the way, this comes from Clean Trifle 204, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we are here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we have a calm, stable household with clear expectations, consistent rules, and appropriate consequences. In our house, there are very few behavior issues beyond normal kid stuff. The kids generally follow the rules, respect us, and understand what's expected of them. When there is misbehavior, it's handled calmly and consistently. In contrast, at their mom's house, the kids often report that there's a lot of yelling, frequent conflict, and ongoing disrespect towards her. I want to be very clear that I do not encourage that in any way. In fact, I have repeatedly told the kids, both in our home and in front of their mom, that they need to respect her and listen to her. I have told them many times that she is their mother and she gave them life, and that she does not deserve to be treated unkindly or disrespectfully. I believe kids benefit from structure and consistency, and I have tried to reinforce respect for both households rather than undermining her. The kids are comfortable with me and sometimes refer to me as a mom figure. They usually call me by my name or a nickname, but on their own, they have also said things like, I have 2 moms. I have never forced or coached this. Their biological mother and I used to be on good terms, but over time she's become increasingly hostile towards me and continues to involve the children in adult issues. Some examples include telling the kids things like, don't call her mom, she's not your mom, and she's just pretending to be her mom, which upsets and confuses them. Our youngest often comes directly to me with questions about things that his mom says. As recently as yesterday, he asked, why does mommy always say that she doesn't like you? He was clearly upset. When this happens, we respond kindly and neutrally. We do not badmouth their mom. Yesterday, we told him, sometimes people don't like other people, and that's okay. Not everyone will like you in this world, but you should never let someone's dislike for you change who you are. Always be you, no matter what. If someone doesn't like you, then that's their loss. I have never spoken negatively about their mom around the kids or shared my frustrations with them. And for some additional context, she asked my fiance if they could get back together if he and I did not work out, quote, for their son. This was years after they broke up, and they have not been together since 2017, 2018. I have received anonymous texts containing fake dating profiles using my fiance's photo. These profiles do not exist, contain incorrect information, and my fiance does not use dating apps. I do not have proof of who sent them, but given the timing and circumstances, I strongly suspect it might be her. I have never accused her directly because I don't have evidence, but she's also cold or avoids us entirely when my fiance and I are together, but is friendly when he's alone. We have repeatedly tried to handle things like adults, but she refuses to have a conversation with us. When I calmly stated my boundaries about not involving the kids in adult conflict, she immediately shifted to blaming me, saying that there were things I do that she doesn't like, without acknowledging anything I said. I responded kindly and asked her to tell me specifically what I was doing so I could address it or fix it, and she never responded. My fiance and I have given multiple opportunities for a respectful conversation, and she continues to refuse to engage while still involving the kids. Regarding social media, I sometimes refer to the kids as my kids, never implying that they are biologically mine, and post family photos. My fiance, their father, has explicitly said that this is okay. Her grandmother told me I should stop because, quote, it makes her uncomfortable. I do not agree. I do not believe her discomfort gives her authority over how I speak or post, especially when their father supports it. Church has also become an issue. But before we go into that issue, I want to pause and discuss that one.
She sounds like just such a miserable person, like clinging to this hope of like, well, he'll come back to me. But then is such a mean, miserable person.
Yeah.
It's like, lady, I don't know what you're trying to like win back here by being just awful.
Right. Like, it's probably the kind of thing where it's just like, as their lives separated and moved on, like hers didn't get any better, but his obviously did.
Right.
But then that specific issue of like saying like my kids in the post,
right,
that is interesting to me because I mean, I know teachers will say something like that, like, oh, like these are my kids. Like,
my teacher friends say that all the time.
Yeah, same. And like but at the same time, we've also heard stories where like a mother-in-law would do that, be like my baby, and that's like a huge bothersome thing to the mother, or like to like the actual mother of the kids.
That is a tough one because I would typically be like, well, it is kind of like bio mom's call on that one, but to some extent, like kind of the kids' calls even. But I feel like you can respect that boundary of like trying to be better about that kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like that's something you could do.
Kind of a semi-valid, like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
She's being awful and won't have a conversation with you. That's a whole different problem. But
yeah.
But if that'll help some tension ease up, fine. Be conscious in an effort to like not do that one. Sure.
Because I mean, it might, even if you're like on a bad terms or good terms even, and you just don't want someone saying that they're your kids because they're not. I mean,
1,000%. I fully understand that one.
Yeah, unless they're like married, maybe. Then like maybe I don't know. But they're just
even then.
Just are they married or are they?
Even if you are though, those like that's such a bigger conversation of like everyone should be on board with it.
Yeah, it's just a small thing. I feel like it's not like.
And I think at a certain age, the kids kind of do get that call to decide on their own.
Right.
But they sound young.
Because I guess they have been saying like I have 2 moms and stuff.
Right.
And you've been there for most of their life. So I don't know. That's a complicated one.
It's tough. Yeah.
But everything else I totally agree on. So church has also become an issue. Early on, their mom allowed me to take the kids to church with me for about a year and a half. Then suddenly, she told me, if you take my kids to church one more time, we're going to have a problem. To avoid conflict, my fiance and I stopped taking them. Since then, the kids have repeatedly asked to go back. Recently, when I mentioned I was going to church, the oldest literally begged me, hands together and jumping up and down, asking to go with me. The kids have also told us they are upset with their mom for not letting them go anymore. My fiance and I talked it through and decided together that letting them attend church is not harmful, especially since they are asking and not being forced. We told them that they do not have to go if they don't want to, but they're welcome to explore their beliefs. We are Christians, and the kids have expressed that they love Jesus and want to learn more. We believe their beliefs matter and should not be shut down. Their mom is now angry again, but has not directly told us to stop taking them. Okay. One more important piece of context. Historically, my fiance often gave in to her demands to keep the peace. Since being with me, he has learned to stand up for himself and set boundaries. I do not allow manipulation in our household. I believe this shift is part of why her hostility has escalated, because neither of us can be controlled the way he once was.
Yeah.
That's a good
And I could
point.
fully see her being like, and it's because of her.
Totally.
And it's like, it's really not. Like, she just helped him
Yeah.
hold strong. Like,
Right.
you can't blame her for him getting a spine on stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even if it is because of her, it's like,
Right.
good. Like,
Good.
he shouldn't.
She needed that.
Yeah.
Like, or he needed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But you need to listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. There is more to the story, but yeah, I mean, that's such a common thing where
That's
it's like
so common.
someone's controlling, whether they like are purposefully doing that or not. And then like as
Yeah.
soon as you're not going along with their beliefs the same way you used to, then they're just like, oh, what's happening? They're being so
Right.
rude now.
Yeah.
They're being terrible. But
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like, sure, like some things that she seems to be coming up with are maybe potentially like kind of valid. But like to me, some of the validity gets lost when you're not willing to like sit down and have a conversation about it.
yeah.
Like if you just want to be petty and like suddenly like have an outburst of getting mad or like talk to
Yeah.
your kids about it over like the adults that you're mad at,
Right.
then I'm gonna be like, girl, what the heck?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
but
come
if
on.
we can have like, I don't know. I don't even know if there's a way to be like, can we sit down and talk? Like,
Right.
she hates you.
Yeah. So. But there is a little bit more to this story. I'm not trying to replace her, erase her, or undermine her role. I'm just refusing to shrink myself, hide healthy relationships, or surrender decisions in our household to someone else's emotions, especially when the kids are being pulled into adult conflict. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for holding these boundaries, continuing to post and speak freely, supporting the kids' relationship with me, and allowing them to attend church when they ask, even though it makes their mom uncomfortable. And that's the end of that story. But what say you?
I say the calling you mom one, maybe we could stop doing.
Yeah.
The church one, that should be up to the kids.
Yeah.
And what was the last one?
Holding these boundaries.
Oh, no, you have to hold your boundaries.
Yeah.
That's healthy.
Yeah, it's super healthy.
Yeah, screw her on that one.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think, like, I get why a lot of the frustrations are with you, but I think most of this needs to be going through your husband or fiance.
Yeah.
And it seems like it is, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think if he's okay with a lot of it, it seems like you're not, pushing your own desires
Right.
onto these kids at all.
You're
Just-
not like, you have to go to church.
right.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like
they're actually actively being like, please
yeah,
take us.
literally. Like you are trying to appease her in these other ways, and the kids don't like it.
Right.
And also, she's yelling at them and stuff.
Right,
She
she's
just
being
doesn't seem like a good
mean.
parent anyway.
Uh-uh.
So I think you're fine, and I think you know that.